thank you. Welcome to our media conference round 2 of NZSBK 2020 as we enjoy our Timaru Metal Recyclers Superbike class, and a very good looking top 5 here. For one significant reason, they are the top 5, because when it comes to round 1, well, who we're going to pick? Those that have been good performers in other events or other series or last year, but no better than at round 2 to have the best 5 that we've got here. And we'll be very kind and start with our Australians, because we're feeling very sorry for their koalas and their kangaroos, not so much their people, but we're going to get into that, I think. And we're going to start off by, first of all, Lockie, a good little giant came up in my estimate of the 90 kgs that you weighed, and good to know that there's been a few Aussies out there that have challenged us, and certainly I've been corrected, and I'm very happy to take that correction, and for the fun that we've had over it, and thank you for your support of that. He's brought along a set of scales, of which we've been able to have a bit of a weigh-in, and good to know, in fact, that he's actually more than 10 kilos lighter than that, so I can take the snack on the hand for that one. But in all, probably honestly, it did actually give you a little bit of excuse for not being first, because you had that extra weight. Now that we know you haven't got that weight, what will your excuse be for not being first?
That's an odd question. I've never been asked that one. No, there's no excuses. I can go on and be like, oh, I haven't had the training because of the injuries and this and that, but there's no excuses. You know, you come up here and you plan to be as fast as you possibly can, and the best man always wins, and that's just how racing goes. You know, we've definitely had our fun with the whole 90 kilo thing. We've had stickers made up. We've had the whole thing, but now it's time to be serious, you know, and come here and start working and planning on being the fastest person outright.
All right, a few years since you've been here at Levels, what are your memories, and do you like this place?
I didn't like this place when I last came here. I haven't been here since 2014, and when I came here I sucked. I was dead last, I was awful, I looked bad. So I came here today and I wanted to rectify that, and I feel like we've had good pace throughout the last 2 days, and I'm really confident, and hopefully I can not be last this time. That'd be a good start.
That's a fantastic answer. I didn't realise you quite felt that way about it. And a number of people have said to me about your improvement in your riding, and it's a full credit to you. You come here to New Zealand when it's hot back home, and you could be perhaps relaxing on a beach and having fun on a jet ski. What's the incentive to be racing in New Zealand?
I always like to challenge myself. You know, I kind of had a bit of a rival with Damo in Australia, so I thought maybe if I came over here I can keep it going. But no, I enjoy racing, and I always want to race where I feel like I can have a challenge and I can be pushing to be the best version of myself, and I felt like New Zealand was a great place to continue that over our summer.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Dean and Damo, setting it alight, the offshoot at Euromark Eppman at Rapuna last week, and we thought all of a sudden maybe you put a bit too much pressure on yourself. Tell us about that moment.
Oh, it was just a screw up, to be honest. Ran hot, a bit of a tailwind, that didn't help, and couldn't stop. There's not so much swearing, but there was a little bit of disappointment in my helmet at that moment. But first thought was, let's just get my head down and see where I can finish. And pretty stoked to still end up on the podium in that race, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, thank you, your accommodator's dream, because we were just watching you peel it off, and must have been a good confidence booster to help you then go on to win the next 2?
Yeah, I mean, like we all know, with road racing, it's all good and well to be the fastest, but you still got to be able to make passes to be able to win those races. So I certainly didn't have my own way in the final race in the GP, but I just kind of clicked away. I mean, all weekend from Friday, the bike was working perfectly, and I couldn't floor it. So to make those passes, I wasn't out of my comfort zone too much. I was just kind of clicking off laps as if it was practice in the races, and getting the results we wanted, which is winning.
All right, your great sponsor, Johnny from Timaru Metal Recyclers, is a fine advocate of this place, Levels. How do you think about it?
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I mean, Johnny's always been supportive of road racing and motorsport in general. So, yeah, I mean, Johnny's just a legend. He's a legend at Timaru and legend in motorsport New Zealand. So it's pretty awesome to have him sponsoring this class.
It's great to see. Thank you very much. Cool. Al, we're still in Canterbury. It's not quite Ruapuna, but how do you feel at this place?
I actually really enjoy this track. It's it's a real rider's track. I loved it on the smaller bikes. Bigger bikes, it's a wee bit more challenging throwing them around, but I haven't actually been doing too much riding around here, and it's only 2 hours from home, but we haven't, last time I was here on the big bike was Nationals, so haven't really had much more track time than these guys, so I think we're all on pretty even playing field, but felt really good today. Everything seems to be working. Team's working really well. So yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow, getting the timers out, see what everyone's up to.
So if you'd set a goal for last weekend, did you meet your goal?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to, like last year, we were on the podiums all the time. I wanted to get a few more wins. I only managed one last year. So yeah, to get one straight off the bat was pretty cool, and then yeah, to follow it up with 2 seconds and running with these guys who've been riding all year is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm really happy, and yeah, it's great stuff for Yamaha. So.
Thank you. Jake, teammate, is there any team rules like you're allowed to pass them?
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. They let us battle pretty hard. So yeah, when I can keep up, I'll certainly try and make a move. So no, it's good. It's good to have a teammate like Al and a really good team atmosphere. You know, we get on well off track and on track. So yeah, as all the boys do. So no, it's good.
It felt, looking from the outside last week, that you were sort of sitting there and then it just flicked a switch. It was as if you could battle with those guys, and then you just really put your head down and stamp your authority to be clearly in that top 3 last week. How did that feel in your own mind?
Yeah, it was really good. Like, that was the goal, to be up in that top 3. Last year we were just a wee bit off that, but to come into the new season and be pretty close to the front guys, I was really, really happy. Yeah, like you say, we sort of started the races. I wasn't quite on the pace, but sort of, you know, a few laps in, I started to sort of be a lot more comfortable and come into my own, and that's when I felt the strongest. So no, happy. If we can keep that momentum going into this weekend, be really, really good. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you, Jake Lewis. Scotty Moyer. Scotty, I've got the best questions in the world for you, mate. 3 out of 3 here last year. Can you do that again?
Well, most of the boys today are all going pretty fast. I mean, I wasn't doing anything, you know, blindly fast. I mean, if I was doing what I was doing last year, you know, you'd be happy. But because the pace has just been stepped up that bit more, yeah, it's going to be tough. Just got to qualify good, you know, get on that front row and just try and put your head down really, because it could be pretty difficult to pass around here. So if I get a clear track, then I can run my own lines, and yeah, I'll be just giving it my best here.
2017, 2018, you were Suzuki Series winner. You came here in good form last year, and you won all 3. Went on, of course, to have a narrow second place overall. But right from Suzuki around day 1 this summer, just things haven't clicked for you. You're starting to feel more confident as the series goes on.
Yeah. Well, last week went pretty good for me. It's the fastest I've ever been around there. But just saying, they got a bad qualifying, and just wasn't. Everyone was getting real good starts. You know, I'm normally pretty strong on the start, but couldn't make advantage of that. And yeah, had good pace, no good battles of Jake and that. But yeah, so the pace was there. Yeah, so it was a good way to end that, you know, that meeting for me. It's not I like the track, but it's not always my strongest track. But yeah, always been really like this track. Always gone pretty well. So now looking forward to it.
Right, as the series builds up and we head towards the North Island, you've got 5 or 6 weeks gap. What are the sort of things you'll be doing in that time to get ready for those home North Island events?
Like to try and do a bit more riding. You know, you can't beat riding, but it normally doesn't happen, to be honest. But yeah, just go spend some time at the lake, you know, family time and whatnot, stuff like that, and try and do a bit of training. You know, keep the fitness going. Fitness been pretty good this year, so try and carry that on, and then yeah, try and carry the momentum on for the last 3 rounds.
Good. Thank you, Lachlan Evans, Damon Rees, Al Hergy, and me with Jake Lewis and Scott Moyer. 5 awesome guys. You all deserve to be there. I hope to be able to interview you again next week. So, cheers again. Thank you.
Thanks. You're on a hot seat.
Round 2 NZSBK into our prestigious Supersport 600 class, brought to us by MTF Finance, helping New Zealanders do more since 1970. MTF Finance, working hard for good working Kiwis. So thanks to MTF, and here we are with our lineup today: Ashton Hughes, Dale Finch, with Richie Diven, David Hall, and Toby Summers. The Class 5 of the opening round. Here we are, round number 2 at level, starting with you, Ashton. The sun shines again here in Canterbury. Forecast for a good weekend. Ready to go on this track. How are you feeling?
Pretty good so far. We come out here on Wednesday and do a couple laps, which I found was really good. You can sort of spend the Wednesday relearning where the track goes, and then actually make some changes and stuff like that on the Friday. Make some good steps forward.
Good. Change of teams this year, but still that Triumph 675. How do you think that bike is suited to Levels Raceway?
Yeah, really good. Both Dale and I have sort of said like out of turn 3 feels really good because you got a really good punch out of there. Gives you that good drive down the straight, which you can kind of make up quite a bit of time down there.
Yeah, it would be a bonus for sure. All right, as far as that first round was concerned, happy with that result and where you're lying in the series? What do you think for your own ability or raising your standards?
Yeah, 100%. Coming out of there in third equal or second equal was a little bit more than what I really expected. You know, with a couple of people having crashes and things like that. And then, yeah, in that second race last weekend, Dave Hall had quite a bit of a lead on me and then put in the hard yards to reel him in. And yeah, unfortunately, got a little bit lucky. Well, fortunately for me, got a little bit lucky, but the hard work paid off. So.
Good, Dale. Enjoying joining Ashton in this new Scott structural team this year?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. Put them to work last week. Thursday we had a motor out, and night we were rebuilding it back in. We'd managed to pack up the pits on Monday morning and we're straight into the garage, had 2 bikes stripped, building one good engine out of 2. And then to the dyno Tuesday, and then back. I had to go to work on Tuesday and Ashton was at home putting it together. And then yeah, back to dyno Wednesday and then out here riding, and we've had no issues so far, so it's looking good.
I did a pit walk today and certainly commented to Brad about the fact that just how laid back you guys were, and isn't it nice to know that you don't have to panic and do anything because everything's fallen into place? It must be the sign of a good team behind you.
Oh yeah, it's been really good today just to be able to chill out and keep my hands clean.
All right, so as an ex-speedway rider, is this the kind of track that suits Dale Fitch?
No, it does. It does. I feel like I'm pretty good through the chicanes, chucking the bike around and standing it up out of the corners, and because yeah, like Ashton was saying, you do need to get out of turn 3 real fast, and yeah, we're managing to get there so far.
Good, thank you. Well, Richie, if you'd have dreamed about last weekend, that's the ultimate dream. You won qualifying, you went on to win every race. After the bad luck you'd had last year in the South Island, that's got to put the biggest smile on your face, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend for sure, and I mean, it's you don't really get too many weekends like that, so I'll take that one, and yeah, hopefully get some good results this weekend and keep the ball rolling.
Good. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, no, it's good. I like Levels. It's, you know, it sort of suits me a bit, and the bike seems to be alright. We haven't really changed anything, just sort of got out there and ride it and get laps in, and yeah, no, it feels good, so looking forward to it.
What do you think's the secret of your improvement in 12 months? Is it down to what you've done in Aussie? Is it just the fact that you've been going around other tracks over the off-season? Is it the motarding? What do you put it down to?
No, I don't really know. I didn't really get as much time on the bike last year as what I would have liked, but yeah, I don't know, just sort of gelling with it now, and obviously going to Australia and trying to keep up with them probably helped out a lot, and yeah, we've been doing a bit of riding, obviously, as much as we can, and yeah, just sort of getting comfy on the bike, so it's, yeah, and the results obviously show it's paying off, so.
Hey Tom, with the wife and the kids down here, those Facebook posts are fantastic. Congratulations for being able to mix that up. Does that help you relax? Is that a good feeling about being away, that you can actually have it as a holiday as well?
Yeah, no, it is. It's good, you know, to spend time with the kids and go to the tramp park and swimming and that, so
yeah.
It definitely keeps me busy, so.
Yeah, good to see. Well done, cool. David, how are you feeling about Timarine?
Good. I like the track, and out the back there where it's been really tasked out, it feels pretty good. Good a grip and that. Yeah, that's sweet as.
Good. On the Dairy Tech bike, you happy with the way it went last week?
Yep. Yeah, no, everything was fine. It was just me trying to not cause too many troubles in the first couple of laps, and maybe me to push a bit harder at the start or something maybe. But yeah, no, it's everything's working for me.
So for you to qualify number one, you've got to beat that guy on your right, but you're the sort of rider who can do it around here. What's going to be your tactic to get a good lap in?
Oh yeah, I can do it, but I don't know, I'm pretty slow to warm up. Normally, like by the ends of the races, I'm going good, but I've never been able to qualify very well.
You're not qualifying at the end of the day?
Yeah, or yeah, I don't know, yeah, pretty much. but slow in the brain, getting comfortable and warming up, I suppose. Yeah.
Look, and look, the way you talk and then the way you actually present yourself, and all of a sudden you go out on the track and you're actually a completely different rider. So I find that incredible because you just lay back and you take it all naturally and you think, oh, let's go and have some fun. And next thing you're busting these guys around you. Poor Toby doesn't want to know who you are because you're better than he is.
Nah, we're all the same people. No one's better than anyone else.
Well done. Hey Toby, third time lucky, but was there any awards for the best crash that you would have taken out from last weekend?
To be honest,
you made the most dust, it was great.
the dust was big, but the crash wasn't that bad. I just, there's a bump on that corner, you bottom out, and if you bottom out and hit a little bit of white paint, then tuck the front. So it was quite a gentle crash. It probably looked worse because of the dust. The bike cartwheeled. I went over to the bike and I looked at it and thought, yeah, that's the end of the weekend. And then we got it back to the pits, put it on the stands, and I was looking at it just thinking, yeah. So we started to fix it, and before we know it, we'd gone through a whole roll of duct tape and quite a few cable ties, and it was a 5-minute call for the race, so we managed to get out for that. And the race started off good, got held up a little bit behind Rogan. Richie was riding flawlessly. He got a bit of a gap, got past Rogan, and managed to maintain that gap for probably 5 or 6 laps with Richie. Then I just got tired. And I didn't realise David was on a big charge, and suddenly he flew by me. I just had nothing left for him. But I was happy after, looking at the bike, as I said, to get on the podium. So try and go a bit better this weekend. I enjoy the track. A lot of us enjoy this track. It's a good 600 track. It's nice and tight and technical. It's lots of fun, lots of grip. The grip around the back is good fun. You can really push around there now. So just want to try and get some better results.
So rumoured to be 33 degrees there last weekend, probably only in the shallow 20s this weekend. You were saying it was hot and exhausting. What have you done during the week in between to prepare for something that you know is going to be pretty hot?
Well, it's with only a week between the races, you've got to be careful to not use up what you haven't got. So I was like, I went for a couple of mountain bike rides, went to the BMX track with the kids, with the girls. Didn't do too much, just tried to get some decent sleep, but unfortunately I had to work on Wednesday night till about 2 o'clock in the morning, so went to bed, got up at 6 and flew down there. So, just being a bit cooler and just there's not a lot you can't suddenly get fitter in a week. So just lots of rest and trying to eat some good food and stay hydrated.
Right, you've got an opportunity, of course, Kirsten, who's always with you, but the girls are down here this weekend, and we're talking to Richie about how good you feel when you've got your family around you. Does that make you feel in a better mindset for this weekend compared to last?
It certainly makes my pockets lighter when the kids are with me, because they constantly come up to me like this. Dad, they're not too bad actually. We brought their BMXs down. They've got BMX Nationals down here in a couple of months' time, so we brought their bikes down to go and ride on the track where the Nationals are. So they had a bit of a play around yesterday, and we go back there Monday morning for a few more laps. So it's cool having the kids down here. Obviously Kirsten's doing Mad Love Media. It's great having her doing that and being down to support me. The same with so many people in the pits. It's a family event, everyone brings their family. A lot of people bring their family with them, so it's a good environment.
Well, it was easy to choose the 5 for the media conference this year, because between you won to 5 for the championship, so thank you to Ashton, Dale, Richie, David and Toby. All the best. Hopefully I'm going to interview all of you over the weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
In the points. So a fantastic weekend for Team Reeves Honda last weekend, and getting behind Damo with the Kiwi Invasion. Damon Reeves and Shane Richardson are on a BSP, British Superbike campaign in the Superstock class, so looking to raise funds for that. Getting behind the Kiwi Invasion raffle. They're $20 a ticket, or 3 for $50, available from Tony Reeves Motorcycles and also from Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, or via the Team Reeves Facebook page. So get on board Damon Reeves and the Kiwi Invasion raffle. It's a fantastic thing to look out for. So we've got round 2 here. Damo certainly the man to beat. Lap record holder now at Ruapuna last weekend. Did a brilliant job, and great to have Team Rees Honda looking all of the class at the moment. Big brother Mitch, he's in there as well. He's found some good pace this weekend. So 12 months ago at this track, had a bad crash, ending his Superbike campaign that year. So back, feeling good on the bike, and fantastic to see the Holmes family as well. They're here helping out Team Rees Honda, as well as Johnny Hepburn's down there, and team mechanic Liam, super father Tony. So the Team Rees Honda Superbike team just looking absolutely brilliant, and certainly on pace. Damo qualified in second, Mitchell qualified in fifth today, and all under lap record pace, both boys. So certainly going to be awesome to see they get a 10 lapper later on this afternoon. Certainly going to be one to watch out for. We go to Zach Fuller in the pits as well. Now Zach, what a young teenage sensation from the Waikato. He's in the Pro Twins campaign this year. He's in a couple of seasons on the Gixxer 150s. Now he's gone Pro Twin racing already, qualifying in second place for round 2. He was third in the points. After round 1, had a fantastic couple of podiums, including a podium in the Grand Prix last weekend. Fantastic stuff from Zach Fuller, and looking fantastic. The Suzuki New Zealand Kiwi rider SV650 with the awesome Barry Sheen paint job. And brilliant to see. He's under lap record pace already this weekend, qualified down the front row of the grid. So he is certainly going to be one to watch on the Suzuki. That Pro Twin racing is just going to be electric. And a big welcome to the Love Machine, Jared Love, in there as well. He's come all the way down to help Zach this weekend. What a good mentor, and great to have Jared Love in the pits. Team Yamaha are looking great as well. The 300 Supersport man at the moment, Harry Parker, he left round 1 at Ruapuna, third in the points, including a great result in the GP, and now he comes to his home track in Timaru, and certainly looking to show all the visiting riders how to ride around Levels Raceway. Doing a fantastic job. So he's third in the points. Said he won 2 out of the 3 races last year, and also won the Alan Ramage Memorial. Now that's a great little format. We'll have 3 races, 3 laps each, and the top 300 Supersport riders compete in that one. So moving over to one of his Yamaha teammates on the Superbike, the number 43 of Al Hoogie. Brilliant weekend from Al Hoogie last weekend. Second in the points behind Damon Rees, and 16 points ahead of his teammate Jake Lewis. So with Damon Rees only here for the first 2 rounds, it's definitely looking good for Al Hoogie. He's got a decent points lead back to the rest of them. He went a handful of third placings here last year, so he'll be looking to go one better, but loves this track. Feeling good on the bike as well, so Al Hoogie certainly going to be one to watch out for when we go racing. There's his teammate as well in there. We've got Jake Lewis. Fantastic Superbike rider. A couple of podiums last weekend. He's third in the championship as well. Former European Cup winner back in about 2013. He's a New Zealand Supersport 600 champion as well. And he is very happy with the bike as well. Talking to Jake, and excited to come to Levels. Done a fair bit of riding around here, so loves the track. And should be certainly one to watch in that Superbike class. Got to the Pirelli tyres this year, the Yamaha team, and very much loving it as well. So the bike's been set up by the legend Robert Taylor and Dave Cole, and Jake and Al are doing a brilliant job. They were class acts last weekend. Talking to Red Fenton, big welcome to Red there. Red Fenton, a real legend, owner of the Triple R racing team. A long-time supporter of Al Hoogie and Jake Lewis, so great to have Red over here. Former promoter of events like the John Britton Memorial as well, so a real legend in motorcycling, Red Fenton. We've also got Tim McCarthy. He's a former lap record holder in various classes in New Zealand road racing as well, so the Yamaha team really have lifted the standard and very, very classy. But Cormac Buchanan as well, he's on the Supersport 150. Rogan Chandler on the Blue Crew R6 as well. So serious title contenders in all of the classes. We have a look at some of our other teams in the 300 Supersport class. Some great depth in that field. The Kiwi Bike Insurance team, we've got Esmond Williams in that team. Esmond just outside the points, didn't have the greatest week last week at Ruapuna, but pretty happy with how things are going, and great to have Esmond here on the Kiwi Bike Insurance machine. Got KSS helping him, the legend that is Robert Taylor. Some great stuff there. There's also Tiriana Banks and her dad Clive in that team as well, so fantastic. Esmond, young man from Taranaki. Great to have them here, the Kiwi Bike Insurance team. Brilliant stuff. You can see a beautiful sunny day in Timaru, track temperatures just in the 30s, so we're in for some good racing. There's the 72 of Caleb Gilmore on the Bay Ride Yamaha R3, thanks to Gilmore Homes and Builders and a number of great sponsors getting Caleb racing. He had international experience over the off-season and a lot of riding, and it is really showing. He's 5th in the points at the moment, had a pretty good weekend last weekend at Ruapuna. He's talking to Caleb and having a bit of bike troubles, trying to set that bike up around here, so and try and do the best he can, but already qualifying pretty well. So Caleb Gilmore, certainly one of the young hotshots in New Zealand road racing, one to really look out for. They ride Gilmore Homes and Builders R3. There's Justin Maundit from Levin. Justin sitting at 20th in the points at the moment, and qualifying pretty good. In about 16th place for round 2 here, so he's going to be right there where he wants to be. Great commentator's dream paint job this year, nice bright colours, and a really nice young man racing with us in the 300 Supersport class, which has got massive entries, well over 25 entries this weekend, one of the highest numbers of field we get. It's going to be some brilliant racing. We're going to another one of the Superbike campaigners. That's the 85 of James Hugenbotham. One of the legendary Hoogie brothers. There's 3 of them that were riding last weekend. No Matt this weekend. Support classes were just at round 1 only. But do recall one round at levels where 3 brothers and even the legendary dad Bill, he rode as well. So they had 4 Hoogies out on track at one event. Brilliant. But James, he had a pretty consistent weekend. He's sitting 7th in the points in the Superbike class, and fantastic to see. He had a crash at the Suzuki Series earlier in the summer, so didn't really have the run-in that he wanted, but very consistent riding at Ruapuna, and loves this track as well. So James Hoogie has Dean Watson, Dino giving him a hand there this weekend, so very accomplished 300 Supersport rider Dean Watson, Lindsay Cylinders man. He will be great to have in the pits. We go to one of the 600 Supersport riders, and that is our Australian visitor, Andrew Edser. He is on the Kawasaki, and talking to Andrew, he just coming over here to get some vital preparation. He's going to do an ASBK campaign. He lives a couple of hours north of Sydney, and doesn't get him much track time up there. The tracks, his local tracks, are hours and hours away, so to come over here and get some good track time, he's going to come and do the rest of the campaign as well. So he's in for the full NZSBK season, and the race art man. Brilliant to have our Australian visitors over, and he's doing a good job. Pretty hard track to come and learn. It's quite a technical track. There's a couple of different lines you need to learn really quickly, and he's having a ball. So fantastic to have Andrew over here. He's running 16th in the points at the moment, so he'll be looking to see if he can build on that and that prestigious 600 Supersport class. Another one of our classes this week is the Jigsaw 150 Cup, so mostly dominated by the South Line riders, like the young Sam Guthrie there. Great to have Sam, he's a young man from Rolleston, one of the Motorcycling Canterbury riders, and he's running 2nd in the points behind Tyrone Kuipers there, so he's certainly a young man on the move as well. And great to have our Jigsaw Cup 150s with us this weekend. There's the 35, Maddie Berry, moving to the Auckland area during the week, so fantastic. She's a car mechanic by trade. Great to see her there on the Jigsaw Cup, so keen to having a big interest in road racing. Great to see the Jigsaw Cup 150 still alive here in New Zealand. And with girl power like Maddie Berry. She'll be coming through from the North Island campaign as well. I'm going to keep her riding up in the future, so that is brilliant to see. Building future champions, our Jigsaw Cup. Running with the Supersport 150 class today, so 2 classes out there on track, so still got a decent field of numbers out there, and it should be some good racing coming up around Levels International Raceway. 2.4 kilometres of mostly left-handers. Great racing, always guaranteed at Levels. One of the greatest tracks we come to as far as the racecraft's concerned. And that sidecars, talk about the sidecars. That is going to be some fantastic racing. We can't wait to get underway. Qualifying was pretty tight. Top 4 from last week at Royal Puna, separated by just a couple of seconds as well. There's Team Pirate with Pete the Pirate Goodwin and Kendall Dunlop doing the passengering there, and the legendary Ian, head mechanic there at Team Pirate. So they had a great weekend last weekend. 3rd and 2 first to take the points lead into round 2, and also they won the GP, so the New Zealand Grand Prix champions for 2020, Team Pirate. And they were also the 2018 New Zealand Sidecar Championship pairing, so they'll be keen to get that title back after the 99 of Andy Scriven and Tina McEwen won it last year. And some classy sidecar racing in store over the weekend. Can't wait to get underway.
Yeah, we'll go for that one.
See Pete running the BMW powered machine this weekend, so we're going to really enjoy the back straight here at Levels International Raceway. As we see fantastic scenes. The pits is absolutely brilliant here at Levels. Everyone's got the tent, all grass track, there's no sheds, and it's all brilliant to see. There's some more of our pro twins, Michael Patchett on the 37 machine. So he is from the Canterbury area now as well, so done a few laps around here. Didn't have the greatest of first rounds, had a crash last weekend in race 2, so didn't finish there. So due to that, he's running about 10th in the points. He had a 4th and a 5th place here last year, so knows the track, likes it, and he'll certainly be a contender when we go racing. But the Pro Twins class with Nathan Jane on pole position, under lap record pace, Ben Rosendale and S.J. Cavell on the front row with Zach Fuller. It's going to be some great racing. Go to another one of the 300 Supersport riders. It's a young man from the Manawatu area. Fielding's Aaron Woodhead. Aaron had a pretty good weekend last weekend, running about 17th in the points and qualified well here as well. So running about 18th place in qualifying in the 300 Supersport class with over 25 entries. And the young man on the Aussie Performance RC390, just one of our young stars in the 300 class with a great depth of field. Fantastic to see. We've got quite a few KTMs. The KTMs really enjoy Levels. You get on the side of the tyre quite a bit, and that single cylinder punchy power should be well suited here this weekend. So 300 Supersport Racing is going to be electric. They get a 10 lapper later on today, and they are on about lap record pace as well, maybe even under lap record pace. So we are certainly going lap record hunting, but because the curve here at Levels has been resurfaced, and it's meant for some great grip around that decreasing radius left-hander. Definitely lap record hunting when we go racing later on. It's the last of the qualifying sessions has almost finished, so we have a bit of a lunch break and then get racing, which should be absolutely breathtaking. Lap record hunting in most of our classes, including the Pro Twin. That's the 42 of Angus Boyd, a young man from Kaiapoi. So he'll be certainly one to watch. Had a great round 1. He's sitting 5th in the points, and managed to save a couple of near misses last week, so fantastic job. Angus Boyd, former 250cc production podium place getter, and really does love this track. So he's a young man that's straight into the Pro Twin racing scene and doing a fantastic job. Certainly another young man to keep our eyes on. Look, can't wait to get underway. Pro Twin racing. 3 guys under lap record pace out there, so we're going to go lap record hunting for sure. We have the tyre regulations where you've got the one set of tyres to last you the entire weekend, so we're not sure if that's going to play a part We'll go to some more about Supersport 150s. It's the new Yamaha R15. Great initiative there to keep this young talent coming through road racing. That's the Bay Ride R15 of Jacob Skinner from Ashburton. What a great young man Jacob is. Met him last weekend at Ruapuna. Unfortunately lost his father last year and manages to come on the racetrack. And he's sitting 5th in the points in the Supersport 150 class. Certainly one to watch. Another one of our Pro Twins. Great field of Pro Twins. There's over 20 Pro Twin races out there. And that's the number 9 of Chris Burt from Auckland. He's running about 14th in the championship. So he'll be doing well this weekend. The 74 of Rob Whittle. Great to have Rob in the pits, one of the nice guys out there. A legend of road racing in New Zealand. He used to be a Pro Twin campaigner to Supersport 600s in the last couple of campaigns. Now he finds himself back with the biggest smile on his face in Pro Twin racing. He's having a ball, and he's had experience in the Isle of Man, racing overseas as well, and a really nice guy. So fantastic to have the number 74 out there. Raglan Roasts man and NTB Racing, so fantastic to have NTB Racing. They support quite a few Pro Twin guys. They do the front suspension and some setup stuff there for Rob. So talking to Rob, and he's very, very happy with the NTB Racing team, so what they can do, and keeping the Pro Twin family where they need to be. And the Pro Twin family is just fantastic. There's people swapping parts, and it is a family. Great atmosphere in Pro Twin racing, and they do some great racing on the track as well. We are, like I said, under lap record pace already in qualifying for the Pro Twins, and they get a 10 lapper later on today, so that's going to be absolutely brilliant with that front row. 3 of the 4 under lap record pace on the front row of the Pro Twins, and that's straight after the Superbike. So we've got Superbikes, they get a 10 lapper, and then we go straight into Pro Twin 10 lapper after that. Absolutely brilliant to see. More of the Pro Twin guys there. They all seem to put together and form a fantastic bond there, including Nathan Jane coming to Pro Twin racing from 600 Supersport. He's already at the sharp end of the field. We've got some very much depth. There's our defending Pro Twin champion Ben Rosendale, the man from Whangamata, qualified on the front row of the grid, so we're pretty happy with where he's sitting in the weekend, leading the points after round 1. Including a awesome 3rd place in the GP on Sunday last weekend. So absolutely great to see Ben Rosendale. He had a great weekend here last year. Had a couple of wins, and really started his Pro Twin campaign off well when they left the South Island. He'll be looking to do the same this weekend, the number 1 on the bike. So that's going to be brilliant. Another one of our Pro Twins, and a man who was on the podium last week, but a bit of inconsistency. Josh Augustine, great to have Josh there. They crashed last weekend in, I think, race 2 when he was right up the front. Managed to get on the podium in race 1, but he's 8th in the points after that. A real title contender though still. The long championship, still 12 races to go in the championship. It's his birthday today as well, so happy birthday to Josh there. Another one of our serious title contenders in the Pro Twin class on the Coleman Suzuki. Another one of our Pro Twins there, and that's the 61 of Phil Munt. Munty is, we'll call him the godfather of Pro Twin racing. He's just an absolute legend. Manages to get the Pro Twin class where it is today. A lot of hard work, and he's sitting 13 in the points as well. So that's fantastic stuff from him, and it says it's his last full season in Pro Twin racing, but we'll see about that. I don't know if you'll be able to keep Munty away. So his last full campaign at title level. we've had Monty, a real legend of Pro Twin racing and a big advocate for Pro Twins in the sport. Have a look at some of our Australian visitors as well. Great to have our Australian visitors over here. We've got Lachlan Epps. He's qualified in the Superbike class on pole position with a well under lap record place lap out here. We've also got in the Superbike class, it's the 88 of Mark McGregor, the man from Addicted to Track, and lives in the Queensland area. And talking to him about Ruapuna last week, loved Ruapuna. It was quite close to his home track in Morgan Park, so a great similarity, the most similar track he's ever ridden to Morgan Park, so brilliant stuff from him. And he's also brought over a couple of Australians, including Anthony Quinn in the Supersport 600 class, so Addicted to Track, they do bike freight. And they also do track days and tours as well, so check out Addicted to Track. That's Mark McGregor come out here. Just wanted to come and tick off a few events. There's the queue there, that's Anthony Quinn on the 600 Supersport class, having a great time there. So coming over here, and they are doing the two South Island tracks. I'm not sure if they're coming to the North Island, but fantastic to have them, and it adds a lot of international flavour to our championship, and brilliant to have them. So we've had Andrew and Anthony in our 600 class, we've got Lockie and Mark in our Superbike class. We've also had Matthew Rindle come over in our 300 Supersport class. He's unfortunately broken a couple of bones in his shoulders after a crash at Ruapuna, but he was running right up in the top 10 last weekend. It was great to have him over. He's still over here taking some photos as well. So a big welcome to our Australian visitors. There's going to more of our 600 Supersport, the 23 of Jordan Burley. So great to have Jordan here. And running some good top 10 positions as well. Some fantastic racing in the 600 Supersport class. And sponsored by the Hamilton Motorcycle Club. Just was involved with their 3-round winter series over the off-season on a great run event. We had one round starting off at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in Taupo, then round 2 was in Hampton Downs, and then we went back to round 3 at Bruce McLaren in Taupo. So the Hamilton Motorcycle Club, definitely an event to keep a lookout for. A very well-run winter series, and guys like Jordan Burley are there or thereabouts with that one. He's running 9th in the points. He's also our former Pro Twin champion. A couple of years ago, he was our 650 Pro Twin champion, where he won in dominant fashion that year, won the GP and the TT and the title all in the same year. So one of the few riders to do the three-peat. Jordan Burley, definitely a young man, great talent, and he's out there on the 600 Supersport campaign, fueling oil Triumph. We have looked that's the 56 there, so that's Jacob Pearce. He's double classing today, double duties for him. He's got a Supersport 600 bike, that one there, the number 56, and he's also running in the Supersport 150 class, where he is second overall in the championship behind Cormac Buchanan. So he's doing a very good job double classing, and talking to him this morning, learnt a lot already out there at Ruapuna, first time really on the 600 at national Supersport 600 level, so he's just absolutely loving it, learning more and more every time he goes out there, and a great young man. Keep an eye on there. So that's his Jacob Pearce, the number 56 on the Trevor Pearce Yamaha R6 and also the R15, so double classing. Fantastic to see that coming up there. So he's got a busy day as we got the 600 Supersport class. They get a 10-lapper. Race 3 on the program, and then a 6-lap Supersport 150 race. That is the second to last program on the day. We're keeping an eye on the 600 Supersport class, and our points leader, Richie Dibben. What a fantastic weekend he had at round 1, 3 from 3. Plus he got the pole position bonus points, so a maximum 76 points, and one of the few riders that very much dominant. Big shout out there to Brian Bernard, the legendary Brian Bernard Racing there. Great to have a mentor like Brian Bernard behind Richie Dibben. They did a great job in Australia this year with their ASBK campaign, where Richie showed some very good pace, some unfortunate crashes that were not his fault, meant the results didn't quite match up, but fantastic. And the young Richie Dibbon, certainly a man to keep an eye on. We go and have a look at the number 20 there, the TR20 machine, MV Augusta of Dylan Telford. Unfortunately for Dylan, had a bad crash in qualifying, so hopefully he's A-OK. But great to have the TR20 team. I saw Bruce Telford, Dylan's father, down there as well, so great to have Bruce back in there. He's had Isle of Man experience and a great New Zealander. He was one of the fastest ever newcomers back in the late 90s, I think, at the Isle of Man when he went there, so he was one of New Zealand's great riders from horsepower motorcycles in the Lower North Island. And great to see TR20. They've got a great team truck there and supporting quite a few riders. So well, hopefully Dylan can get the bike back on track. So unfortunately had a crash during qualifying. He was running some good pace, but we'll see what Dylan can do this weekend. We go to the Helicraft MV Augusta team, and that is brilliant stuff from them. They're running 6th of the points, which is not quite where they want to be, but they were pretty happy with the consistency, and they're definitely building up for this weekend. So their man Seth Devereaux on the number 11, he will be definitely one to watch around here. Loves this track, had a 600 Supersport win here last year when he was on the Triumph, and now great stuff. So he's qualified 5th for today, so he'll be pretty happy with that, right up the shop end of the field, and happy with where the bike's going as well. So you've got his long-time mechanic Robbie Stokes in there as well. Big hello to Team Stokes there. Great to have him, and he's gelled with the Helicraft team straight away, so that's brilliant to see. And nothing but positive stuff coming out of the MV Augusta team for this weekend. We go to the new old team on the block. It is the Biggles Racing team, but they've moved away from the Moto 3 or the IMD 250 they had, the awesome bike they had in the 125 GP class last year, and they've gone to production motorcycles for this year, and boy, have they hit it off with a bang. A fantastic week at the office last weekend with Campbell Grayling qualifying well. He was on the front row of the grid, and he's second in points. His teammate Jason Hearn, though, a GP win. And also, not a GP win, but he had a race win during the weekend, and he also comes away with the series lead. So they've got a massive points advantage, 5 points between first and second in the 300 Supersport class, but then a pretty big advantage back to third place. And the BAS expansion joints, great to see Team Biggles Racing. Marcus and the team down there, brilliant job, and hopefully they can be back at the sharp end. 300 Supersport Racing had a great weekend at Ruapuna on the Yamaha R3s. So yeah, the 58 of Campbell Grayling and also the 11 of Jason Hearn, the two Biggles riders. And I believe there's some Biggles Racing t-shirts for sale down there as well. So go and check that out if you are at Levels this weekend. We go to the number 1 in the Superbike class. That is our defending champion, Daniel Medham. Daniel qualifying very well this morning. He's on about lap record pace, so that's fantastic on the second row of the grid, and definitely great to see Dan getting faster and faster. So there he is there with some great pace out there at the moment. The 21 of Tarbin Walker's in the 600 Supersport class as well. And talking to Tarbin, he had a pretty relaxing week, not much to do to the bike, so he's fantastic and ready to go. But definitely has had a few crashes over the last 6 months, but showing some great pace, so fantastic to see the TWR Tarbin Walker Racing. And the number 21, the bright pink machine, he has qualified in 9th place, so that's brilliant stuff. Third row of the grid stuff for Tarbin. He'll be right there when we go racing. They got a 10-lapper, the third race up on the program. And check out Tarbin Walker Racing. Follow this young man from Wanganui. He gets his Supersport 600 campaign underway. He's a former graduate of the Jixer Cup as well. A really nice guy, and great to see him where he is, running in the top 10 at 600 Supersport Racing. Brilliant stuff. The 22 of Toby Summers on the Carl Cox Motorsport Mad Love Media Kawasaki machine. Had a pretty good weekend. Unfortunately had a DNF in a crash, but third place in the Grand Prix, and leaves himself 5th in the points. So definitely still well in title contention. the number 22 of Toby Summers. He'll be certainly one to watch. He was awesome last year when we come here. He won 3 of the 4 races we had at levels last year. Loves the track and is a real hard-fighting racer. So he'll be coming alive when we go racing the 600 Super Sports later on today. We touched on the sidecars a little bit earlier, but this is one that's going to be pretty good to keep an eye on. This is the number 73, the Carl Cox Motorsport machine of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan. A smaller F2 machine, which was definitely underperforming at Ruapuna next to the Formula 1 machines, but this track here is a lot more technical. There's only one straight, and it's definitely not as big as an advantage to have a Formula 1 sidecar here. So they've qualified in 4th place, and Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, they should be much better suited around here on the Formula 2 machine. Also great to have Sheldon there, their mechanic, and they've had a great week where they've had the Carl Cox Motorsport Golf Open, and Sheldon's managing to lead that at the moment. So that's going to rev on into the North Island rounds, I believe, as well. And great to see the competition on and off the track here at NZSBK for 2020, and we're at round 2 at levels in Timaru on the east coast of New Zealand's South Island, and the weather is looking beautiful. The track temperature is just in the late 30s at the moment. There's a slight breeze, but the air temperature is nearly on 20 degrees, so we're in for a fantastic day of racing. There's the legendary Barry Smith, and excited to see what can happen there on the Formula 2 machine. There is our 300 Supersport Grand Prix winner from last week. That is the 88 of Nathaniel Diprose. He's running 6th in the points. Unfortunately, had 2 lots of brake failures DNFing last week, so only the one result, and it was the win he got in the Grand Prix on the Gavin Veltmeyer prepared machine. He's definitely still very much in title contention. Running 6th in the points, qualified very well today, so one to watch for sure on the RC390. The number 88, Nathaniel Diprose. Also got Hamish Fox in there as well. So we've had Hamish. He started last week as the 692, but the rules say you can only run a 2-digit number max, but there's already a 69, so he's taken the 2 off to run the 69 and found out that there's already a 69 out there, so he's going to change. He's just running the 9 this weekend, but great work from Hamish. He's running 8th in the points, and the Vistalite Central Windows and Doors team, thanks to Connor London for coming on board and helping Hamish this year. So his first full season campaign, his first trip to levels was his first trip to Ruapuna last week, already in the top 10, and a young man certainly on the rise in New Zealand road racing. Fantastic to have the mentorship of Connor London there as well. This is part of the Vistalite Windows and Doors BAS expansion joints on board with them as well. And the young Hamish Fox, he is a great young man to go and have a word to if you are in the pits, running the number 9 in the 300 Supersport class. Brilliant stuff. We've got our Australian visitor there, Lachlan Epis. Like we talked about, Lockie qualified on pole in the Superbike class. Hasn't been to levels for about 6 years. And he said he hated the track when he first came here, so now he's turned up and under lap record pace by quite a way, and on pole for the Superbike race coming up in not too long. That's our first race on the program today, so that's going to be certainly exciting. We go lap record hunting and a 10-lapper, so that's only about 11 minutes of race time. Can't wait to get underway with that one. We go have a look at the KTM team, D6 Motorsport. They're running 2 300 Supersport entries this year, both on the RC390 KTMs, and the number 1 on the bike, defending 300 Supersport champion Jacob Stroud. So he is 7th in the points and feels really good at levels. He's found a little bit of pace during the week, and he is qualified on pole, so well under lap record pace as well. It's his own lap record he set here last year on the Shuzi 390, so now he's gone to the D6 Motorsport team. He's under lap record pace and feeling really good. So we're talking to him earlier this morning. Loves levels and feels really good. So there we go with the number 1 of Jacob Stroud. He's got his teammate there as well, the number 26 of Logan Rowell. There's Logan there with he's running about 19th in the points. So he was on the D6 Motorsport 4-stroke machine in the 125 GP class last year, so great to have him back on the D6 Motorsport team. Beautiful presentation there from D6 Motorsports, and can't wait to see the 300 Supersport, the top 7 in the GP, and 5 people managed to lead the race at one point last weekend. It was absolutely breathtaking. It's one of the greatest races we've had in New Zealand road racing for some time. And all to play for here at round 2 of NZSBK in beautiful sunny Timaru. We're about 8 kilometres north of Timaru at Levels International Raceway. And it's a 2.4 kilometre circuit. We've touched on it a little bit. It runs anti-clockwise. There's only a couple of right-handers on the circuit, and it's going to be fantastic. It's a very technical track, a lot of rider skill involved. There's a frantic racing line that if you do stray off it, it's quite hard to get your rhythm back on. So we'll get ready to go. We've got the lunch break on at the moment, and then when we come back, we'll have our 10 light Superbike race.
Well, thank you, Brad, and for those of you listening at Trackside, that was done for the purpose of our Sky Sport Next camera coverage of our pit build-up that was done late yesterday in preparation for today. Just quickly to go through our qualifying and ready to go with our first race. This is in race order for this afternoon. Superbike's up first, and Australian Lachlan Epis in first place, second to Damon Rees, and third Alistair Hugenbosom to our Pro Twin class with Nathan Jane first, Zach Fuller second, and Ben Rosendale third to our Supersport 600 with Dale Finch, Richie Dimon and Rogan Chandler. Wow, that's you'd almost call that an upset. That was great for racing finishes in that order. The TAB trifecta on that one will be paying very well as we go to Supersport 300. Speaking about TAB, congratulations, Brad, part owner and a greyhound, which got a win last night. So there you go, interest from people away from motorsport, which is good to balance our lives as well. So Supersport 300, Mr. Boats, sponsored racing here in Timaru, number 1, and first to Jacob Stroud with Nathaniel Dipro second, and a local man, Harry Parker, in the third place. And yes, indeed, ahead of Biggles Racing with the likes of Jason Hearn back in 4th and Campbell Grayling in 8th. So, man, that was some magic racing, as Brad referred to last weekend. Looking forward to a repeat of that today. Caltex here, of course, King Street, and again at Washdyke, supporting our Jixer Cup 150s with the Tyrone Guipers, Samuel Guthrie and Harrison Shanks to our Supersport 150, and Superstar in the making in Cormac Buchanan from Invercargill, led of Liam Hum, and Christchurch's Jacob Pearce. And for the sidecars, a fearsome foursome. This is going to be great. In fact, we also have we've really got 7 entries, the other 3 not too far off it as well. Fair to say, but the first race Saturday last weekend at Ruapuna, and this was almost scrub and paint. So top qualifier to Christchurch's Dennis Charlotte, second Taupo's Andy Scrivener, third with Auckland's Pete Goodwin, and 4th to Taronga's Barry Smith. So that's we have. That's a reflection of our qualifying, probably around 15 minutes away from our first race. So if you're out and about, stay with us. Reminder, food available here today on site, both in the Pit Stop Cafe and at the food caravan parked over near the cafeteria area. And also let you know that courtesy of the South Canterbury Car Club, who operate beautiful Levels International Raceway, the club rooms will be open at the end of the day with the bar from 4 p.m. and will also be open while there is demand. So nice super way to end a Saturday. And a reminder, of course, during the lunch break of those awesome Kiwi Invasion raffles, the fundraiser for Damon Rees, heading over to do that British Superbike Championship this year. First prize of an HJC helmet. Prizes include, with that helmet, gloves, a Pirelli set of tyres, a track day voucher for Taupo, and a $150 fuel voucher. Second prize including hot laps at Bruce McLaren and a Husqvarna chainsaw, Repco car care, and fuel vouchers. And third prize with Taupo kart track vouchers, fuel vouchers and grocery vouchers. So all good cause, and raising money to get our Kiwi Invasion for Demon Damo, who heads to BSB. We'll be back shortly, folks. Stay with us. This is New Zealand Superbike Road Racing NZSBK 2020, coming at you from Levels at Timaru. Well, from our media and events coordinator, Bailey, of course, doing lots of posts on social media, and it's with passion that we have a shout out to Robbie Bugden. Robbie, one of our favourite Australian riders here in New Zealand in modern times, and Robbie listening out with us and just making the comment, the fact that he's quite happy that his record still stands. Yes, indeed, 2009 since our Superbike lap record was touched, and well, Robbie, what a legend, and nice to have him as a social media audience person with us. And Robbie, going on what's happened for qualifying today, you are certainly under some pressure, but when it comes to racing, a whole different ball game. But very nice temperatures here today. It's been a cool breeze which has been hanging around, in fact, hanging around across over New Zealand for that matter over the last few weeks. It was actually hotter in early December. Still very nice days, don't get us wrong. It's 20 degrees, and of course here on the black tar seal that equates to track temperatures of over 30 degrees. But the day's racing, I'm sure, is actually going to be superb. So the breeze just a flutter, which will make it pretty spectacular from an audience point of view. So welcome to those out there live, loud and proud with our Sky Sport Next coverage in conjunction with Hyundai Mid and South Canterbury. Proud to provide Motorcycle New Zealand with our support vehicle today. It's South Canterbury Hyundai.co.nz, along with Yamaha Revs Your Heart, Aon with ICG, your creative content and print experts, and of course Pirelli, long-time supporters of road racing in New Zealand. So MNZ hosted round 2. Of course, we've had these 2 back-to-backs here in the South Island, so it's an opportunity for people to come on a summertime January holiday and explore this beautiful area. During the week, we've heard of people that have been to Queenstown, of course, adventure capital Mecca. They've been to Twizel, have been to Lake Tekapo. Some have been down to Dunedin. Some have stayed around the Canterbury region. Beautiful parts of New Zealand here. Effectively, what is over half of the South Island's population living within this 150 kilometre area between Christchurch and Timaru. So lovely part of the country, and great to see spectacle. The east coast, the beautiful Caroline Bay beach here in Timaru, all just adding to the occasion. So well done. South Canterbury Motorcycle Club, well, what can we say? The accolades continue. One of New Zealand's outstanding clubs in the family of MNZ members. I remember a number of years ago they did New Zealand road racing, they did New Zealand motocross, they did New Zealand supercross, they did New Zealand junior motocross. It was in fact 5 national championships events that the club held within 1 year. So great to see. Had the privilege of being here in 2018 for the New Zealand Veterans and Women's Motocross. So still a versatile, one of those clubs that go between doing numerous events. They've run New Zealand Enduro and cross country, and the list goes on. And if you just have a look around these parts with the Levels facility here as a local car club owned event that they get to use on a regular basis, along with the fact that they've got all this beautiful terrain around here, it certainly makes for a great part of paradise. And for example, why we have the likes of life member Johnny Hepburn to the fore, a man who started in motocross here in Canterbury before going to the Tar Seal, and then exceeded exceptional championship glory all around the country. And of course an Isle of Man competitor for us as well, been to Australia, been to the likes of Bathurst and competed. So amazing credits, and all starting from your humble beginnings here in South Canterbury. So nice to see. So we're just at the moment awaiting the call of officials, just a little after 2 p.m. here, and to our first race not too far away. Superbikes coming at you from Levels International Raceway.
but they tend to do that to stay in the shade.
Hey, thank you. We've just had reported that you'll find sort of with the atmosphere that we've got here that unfortunately one of the young kids' scooters, our push around kind of a scooter, I tell you what, a lot of the adults use them as well. They're a cool fun thing, and somebody's just decided that they think they can make better use of it than that they can. So please, if you spot anybody that's looking suspicious with one, then please take a note, and the officials would love to hear. So bad luck with that, but hopefully to get back into the right hands. Well, here we are and getting ready to go because we've got the first of our bikes coming out for the warm-up. Delighted to be joined by Connor London in our box here, and I would like to explain for Connor, first of all, that there's now a lot of understanding, a far better understanding of what head injuries are and the mental illness and that those words that are used in conjunction with things like suicide and other personal disasters that people are striking, and just the great awareness, the range we're seeing now that some of our elite other sports people, e.g. rugby players, are making early retirements, and Connor's one to have done the same thing. And to Connor, first of all, when I talked to him back in May last year at the Kawasaki Winter Road Race Series at the Hamilton Motorcycle Club, he was thinking, yeah, I was going to get back on a bike, but then he had time to consider and realising that there was a number of knocks and that. So Connor, first of all, massive congrats for that call, because that's got to be super tough, but also you couldn't just stay away from the racetrack, you had to get back and help somebody else.
Yeah, it was a good time to call it quits when it started to affect day-to-day life and everything. So yeah, it was a good time to call it. But yeah, stoked to be staying around in the paddock, helping out some young guys get into the sport. And yeah, it's great to be able to come and watch these supers. These guys are flying.
All right, Hamish, the man you're helping, has he dropped the 6 and the 2, or do we got just number 9?
He's got number 9, my World Supersport number, so I'm happy with that one.
Oh, cool, okay. So, all right, there we have. We started back with 692, and it was advice that we only have a 2-digit number for the clarification of the officials. And once he dropped the 2 off, there was already a 69. Brad, let's go racing.
Yep, lights have come on. We're ready to go. 10 laps of Superbike Fury. We're under lap record pace. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. Lachlan Eppers and Damon Reeves with a drag race to the first corner here at Levels. Damon Reeves around the outside. Damon Reeves will lead into turn 2. Lachlan Eppers, our Hoogie's there in 3rd place. We've got Scotty Moy with a good start. Mitchell Reeves, he's sitting there at 5th place as well. Jake Lewis in 6th. So we go racing. Lockie Eppers down the back straight. Damon Reeves now in 2nd place. So this is going to be the fight. It's a 10-lapper, so almost a sprint race here for these guys. And at the moment, it is Lockie Eppers leading into the left-hander.
Well, there we go, down to John Jones Steel. That's a beautiful sweeping corner, one of our favourite corners of New Zealand road racing. It is a lovely right angle, but it's the perfect geometry of a super sweeper, so it's just a matter of buttoning off. There'll be a bit of break, certainly, from the Superbike. Great to talk to the 150 boys. They just love the corner so much because they can actually accelerate through it. To give you an idea of the speed difference between supers and 150s, as they come back in, they go right around sort of in a bubble out of sight to what we call McKissick, and you pick up some great coverage of that, but now come down here in front of a good crowd for a Super Saturday of racing here. Round 1 of NZSP, my apologies, round 2 of NZSPK, race 1 though, that's what I was meaning, race 1 or round 1 of the 2 days of another 2 tomorrow, so 3 at each of our 5-round series for 2020 NZSPK. This is event number 2, and Brad to pick it up, and the pace really on there at the moment. Lachlan, he may have been pipped by Damon in that early stage, but he quickly got him back there on the Castrol curve, and he's dominating.
Yeah, big dive on turn 3 on the first lap. Look at Lockie Eppers already stretching out about a 10 bike length advantage down the back straight. Damon Reeves and Al Hoogie there 2nd and 3rd, so they're not going to want to let Lachlan get a little bit of a lead. Very hard to make a pass around here, and just a 10-lapper, so the top 3 flying at the moment. They go to the top end of the circuit. Then we've also got in 4th place Scotty Moyer ahead of Mitchell Reeves, Daniel Medham. 6th place Jake Lewis back into 7th, and a horror start for Sloane Frost off the front row back in 8th place. So the update as we see the boys, and I think we might have a battle for 2nd place really heating up. Al Hoogie now right on the back wheel of Damon Reeves. So Lachlan Eppers, he's got a pretty comfy margin now in 1st place with Damon Reeves under a lot of pressure from Al Hoogie as they go into the awesome bus stop here at Levels. We've got Lockie Eppers through there, taking it off. Let's have a look at lap record pace of 1:03.1. So we have a new lap record already, so a 1:03.1. Lockie Eppers has got the new lap record around Levels.
Oh, wow, there you go. Well, we knew it was going to be in for the making. There we go. Robbie Bagden probably won't make him feel bad, a fellow Australian, to have taken that lap record. But great news, of course, that we had 5 riders underneath lap record time with qualifying. Qualifying doesn't count for lap records, but certainly it does when it comes to racing. And here on this Super Saturday afternoon, it is superb conditions for doing it. We know the race pace is warmed up, so too, of course, is the track temperature, so too is the excellence of modern machinery and better tyres and our riders with greater experience. So everybody looking on fire as we set to take it out. And Connor, man, that's a cracker start by Lachlan.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do. He's got a bit more race pace than the other boys, I think, but it's, as we saw last weekend, he sort of ran off a bit towards the end of the race, so I think he's trying to pull a bit of a gap here, and then it's just a matter of managing that gap and maintaining a good pace.
Right, there we go. So Lachlan Epps into the lead, then going back to Demon Damo ahead of Alhugi. They're the front three, and it goes Suzuki Honda with Yamaha. So the manufacturer's glories shared by that as they get warmed up and going for it. So here we go. And Brad, it might be those three, but there's Scott, Mitch, Daniel, and Jake, and Sloan. Man, oh man, for a top 8, it's certainly got a few upsets in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got another lap record, so a 102.854, so a 102.854. That is a further bettering the lap record pace. So Lockie Epps is absolutely flying. He's got 0.7 of a second lead ahead of Damon Rees. Damon Rees is in the 102s as well now, so only lost a tenth of a second that time around, and a 103.1 for Alhugi. So 3 of those guys there, the top 3, would have all been under the old lap record, but it is a 102.854. That is Lockie Epps' lap record. So we'll try and keep up with this. There's a lot happening. There's going to be 6 laps to go. There's just the bus stop for them at the moment. We've got a great battle on the screen there. That's 4th, 5th and 6th place, with Scotty Moy under a lot of pressure from Mitch Rees, and in behind them as well, our defending champion Daniel Medham. So here we go racing with Lockie Epps. Damon Rees goes under the lap record, so Damon Rees with a 102.529, so we'll try and keep up. We've broken a lap record every lap so far, and now look at the battle for the lead, really heating up. Damon Rees starting to sneak on the back wheel of Lachlan Epps.
Well, there you go. There's a 3, 3 and a 2. That's what we're talking about, is these little pockets of riders. But even from first back to 8th place that we've got him here, the margin, believe it or not, is only at 5.9 seconds, under 6 seconds to get the first 8 riders to go through. And like I say, there's that 3, then the further little pocket of the other 3. But there you go with Demon Damo, and he's got the new lap record. So the lap record broken in the second lap there by Lachlan Epps. He held it for a couple of laps, and now Damon's got it. These guys are now going underneath the 103, the magic mark here that was held by Robbie Bagden. So Robbie, say farewell to that one. And but congratulations, 9 years. I think in modern motorcycling you're not going to see that records held by those kind of margins in the future. 11 years. He did it in 09. Correction on that. So 2009, and now not broken until 2020. So here we go. And to me, a combination of things for that. First of all, the calibre of the riders, the calibre of the field, the calibre of the machinery assembled, and the technology of the modern tyres, with both of our front runners, of course, out there on Pirelli as we see the fight. Connor, and checking it out, you can see Damon, he's after Lockie.
Yeah, Damo's definitely pushing here. He's putting in some serious lap times and running what they were doing in qualifying. I think it looks like Lockie's got a little bit in his pocket from the looks of him coming out of the corners. He's quite strong on the exit, so I think he's keeping something for later.
Good indeed. We've just had Jacob Stroud, who's come up to give us some feedback about the level of our PA and hopefully getting the audio sorted out. Thanks, Jacob, for that. First of all, this is a record you'd remember well watching Dad racing Robbie around here, and we've broken that today. She's pretty hot pace.
Yeah, mate, the pace out there is really hot. Conditions are amazing. Lap records going in most classes, today. So, really exciting to see bikes that can go, under the lap record and as fast as they can. Demon Damo, mate, he's on the pace, and it's amazing to see.
All right, as they cross the line, the gap is just down to 0.2 of a second. So Damon Rees quicker than Lockie that time around. So the gap, there's nothing in it at the moment. So we've got 4 laps to go. And where is Damo going to make a move? He comes right on the back wheel, but look at out of the corners as Connor London picked up Lockie Epps with a bit of a moment there. The back wheel dancing around, but that's the front 2. There's only about 4 or 5 bike lengths in that as they look, as Damon Rees close enough for a look up the inside of the left hand. It's very late on the brakes. Has he got it done? I think he's taken the line away. He's gone in a bit hot, but I think we've got to change for the lead. No, I think he just run a bit wide there, so we'll catch the update there. Lockie Epps back into the lead, but Damon Rees definitely showed him a good wheel there, so we go racing.
I tell you what, the best seat in the house at the moment coming from Al Hugi is watching those two in front of him, and just that fraction in front, I tell you what, if they were to touch, he's going to be there quick enough to capitalise it, and for the fact that he can be dragged along by them and learn a lot from their craftiness. And of course, often when you get two guys dicing like that, they can actually have the effect of slowing each other down because there's a little bit of brake checking going on and the like. So watch out for Al Hugi, close enough to be back in third, but it is really a three-way bike fight. These guys are...
Have a look on the inside into turn one. He's not quite close enough, but this is on here. We have just 3 laps to go. As we see Damon Rees, this is his favourite part of the circuit, that sweeping left-hander, turn 3. He's going to get right on the back wheel. Does he get a good drive out of there? We've got nothing separating the front two at the moment, so he's as close as he was last lap. Is he going to have a dive? We'll have to wait and see. Damon Rees probably not quite close enough, but he has got a great set of brakes on the Team Rees Honda. He's not going to have a look this time around, so maybe saving it up for the McKissick or the hairpin. A great manoeuvre always when you try and go into the right-hander, but like you said, Al Hugi, how about Al Hugi turning up? He is in the 102.7s, lapping in the 102.7s, and he is 1.3 seconds off the lead. So you wouldn't have thought that when you come here this morning. If you were doing 102s, you'd be in third place by over a second.
All right, so the top 8 are unchanged. Unchanged, been no movement there by placing, but I'll tell you what, they're still pretty close together, and that margin all the way to 8th place has gone out only to 8.2 seconds from first back to 8th. So a 1 second buffer to give us an idea of the quality of the field. We saw that at Suzuki International Series at Boxing Day for the Robert Holden, that we didn't have the quantity, but we've certainly got the quality, and we're smashing lap records like we have already today, and only in race 1. And as Jacob Stroud has suggested, more lap records to go as the day progresses. We're in for a great run, and Brad, here comes Demon Damo. Can he do it this time?
Yeah, he's right on the back wheel there, so hopefully he can tuck in, get a bit of slipstream, get a bit of a drag as we have a look down the back straight. We just 2 laps to go. We're on the second to last lap here. He's not quite close enough this time as well, so Lockie Eppers has done a pretty good job defending that one there. We've got a couple more corner options there, but Al Hugi, he's in a solid third place. We've got Scotty Moyer 4th, Mitchell Rees in 5th, still trying to find a way up into 4th, so that's a great battle. Daniel Medham, our defending champion, in 6th place. Jake Lewis and Sloane Frost rounding at our top 8 as we catch an eye of them into the right-hand hairpin. Still not close enough, Damon Rees, but he's right on the back wheel, so we're on here. This is going to be a ding-dong. The white flag is ready and waiting, so we're going to be on the last lap. They're going to come through the bus stop, and this is where Damon Rees up the inside into the bus stop. Is he going to do? He's going to make it stick. Well done to Damon Rees. What a move into the bus stop. That's a brave move. And new race leader with the white flag out. Demon Damo Rees is in the lead.
Well, Connor, we saw that one coming, but to do it at that particular point, that was a fine line.
Yeah, I remember back a few years ago, Craig Sheriff making that pass on Bugden for the win here, and that's not an easy pass, but you can guarantee Damo's going to do a pass like that. I think Lockie's got a little bit on Damo here, so it'll be interesting to see what can happen.
Right over to Jacob. Can Damo still hold it from here?
No, Damo's trying probably the hardest there. He's been a Superbike rider riding a long time. Lockie seems to maybe have a little bit more pace in the back pocket, but there's half a lap to go and anything can happen.
All right, bring us home, Brad.
Here we go. Round the McKissick curve, awesome left-hander with decreasing radius. Damon Rees just sneaking out a bit of an advantage. They flick it right, and then on the run to the hairpin. There's only a handful of corners to go. It is still with the 92, the Team Rees Honda of Damon Rees. Lockie Eppers now only a bike length in it as they go around the left-hander, ready to go to the bus stop. This is where Demon Damo made the move a lap ago. I don't think Lockie's close enough, so Damon Rees gets the bus stop done nicely, and race 1 win for 92. Demon Damo Rees, Lachlan Eppers, after setting a couple of lap records, he has to settle for second. Al Hugi in the 102s and still manages to come home in third place. 4th for Scotty Moyer, who holds out Mitchell Rees, and then we go to Daniel Medham ahead of Jake Lewis and Sloane Frost, so a frantic pace. Top 8 lap record stays with Damon Rees, a 102.529, not only breaking a lap record but obliterating it by 0.8 of a second. Absolutely fantastic, and the Timaru Metal Recycling Superbike Racing, absolutely brilliant as we see Demon Damo waving to the crowd. Fantastic stuff, a lap record and a race 1 win for Team Rees Honda's Damon Rees.
All right, Timaru Metal Recyclers, cash for scrap. Yes indeed, Johnny, the legend of South Canterbury Motorcycle Sport, and of course he'll be here next weekend as well for his new claim to fame with Mainland Muscle as they take on this fantastic circuit for their summer series. You can email John at timarumetal.co.nz. At home, of course, at 48 Red Roof Street. Nothing better than cash for scrap. Remembering in this era that we live in now, looking after the environment and economy, ecology and conscious of our waste, remembering there's everything from your leftover screws and nails to a little bit of steel guttering that might be on your older house, to the fact that there'll be some old car parts or motorbike parts that you've got. They don't go in the rubbish anymore, folks. They go with recycling, and the cool thing is you get money for it as well. The world wants our waste, and we want to make sure it gets utilised. They're talking about, of course, 2020 for Tokyo Olympics, that the medals will all be made from the precious metals extracted from the recovery of old cell phones. So to give you an idea, there is no waste whatsoever. Timaru Metal Recyclers, cash for scrap. Thank you, Johnny, and some great action.
Fantastic scenes here at NZSBK. Round 2 has started with a bang, and Neil's going to run downstairs. He's got the podium celebrations to do with our classy podium. All lapping in the 102s, the first motorcycles to go in the 102s around here at Levels Raceway. And Damon Rees, what a move into the bus stop. That is brave, as runs it into the bus stop, but manages to get the bike stood back up, flick it the other way, and come round. What a race win for Demon Damo Rees on the Team Rees Honda. Lachlan Epps, he's chased all the way on that last lap after leading for 90% of the race. Has to settle for second, but knows he's got the pace for the weekend. And Al Hoogie, another man who will be pretty happy with a solid third place in the championship. We'll cross down to Neil, who will have our podium.
Well, an opportunity to acknowledge our quality of the field, and already a good assemble for our media and special officials down here, and to certainly acknowledge a fantastic Superbike race. First of all, Al, you were able to match them in the first place. Those boys took off, but you've got to be pleased still with third.
Yeah, very, well, yeah, third's right, but no, happy to be consistently on the podium. Had a bit of a scare at the hairpin, a big front end tuck, so thought there was no point trying to chase these boys down. I thought there was a bit of a gap behind, so third's good, and we'll improve tomorrow.
Well done, well done. There you go. Just good to get those little tidbits about what's happening out there on the racetrack. Well, Lockie, Demon Damo had you from the start. You quickly got him back through that turn 2, and you gobbled it up. You then got the lap record. You took it off fellow Aussie Robbie Bugden, who'd held it for only a mere 11 years, and then 2 laps later, the man next to you got it back, and then he finally got you back as well. But how does it feel to be back here at Levels today?
No, it's good. You know, our plan was to try and lead from the front, get a good start, try and break away. I felt like we got a good start, but Damo still managed to get us into turn 1. So I kind of went, screw it, sent it into turn 3, and then I was trying to pull away, but I knew they were coming with me. You know, Damo just put a pass where I wasn't expecting it, caught me off by surprise, and he got the win. You know, it sucks to lose a race on the last lap, but at the same time, it's cool to be racing for the win, so I'm not too stressed out about it.
Well done, well done. Nice words, Demon Damo. Man, oh man, you tried, you overshot it. John Jones Steele, he had to pull you back. Were you waiting for that one? Had you watched the video of Craig Sheriff and Robbie Bugden?
No, I actually haven't even seen it, but to be honest, it was a bit of there was a little bit here and there where I'd make up ground, and it was kind of all right, it's do or die now, and I knew if I left it to the last lap, he was going to block into there, so managed to get that pass in there and make it stick. Other than the one at the back straight, that one was closed, so I was lucky to pull that one off, so yeah, absolutely wrapped to come away with a race win.
Or indeed, Levels, what are the conditions like today?
Track's actually pretty grippy out there at the moment. It's not too hot, so yeah, I mean, as you can see with the lap times we're doing, the track's definitely got some grip out there. Yeah, no, it's an awesome track. I'm really glad to finally get the monkey off the back and win some races here at Timaru.
Yeah, here indeed. What an awesome trio. Let's hear it, folks. How good is that today? Well done, and awesome to see. Yeah, indeed, the monkey off the back's a key pointer for Demon Damo, but we'll put that down to the weather of last year for you. Damon won't be so bad. So there we have it, a fantastic Superbike race. Back with plenty more to come shortly. Well, coming up next to Pro Twins, for me, one of the bikes and levels that really go together like a hand in a glove. This is just such a nice match. Pro Twins around this more compact circuit, it's just fantastic. And I'm sure we're going to see some great racing. What about it, Nathan James, former winner of a number of the races in this class, up against the number one of Zach, sorry, my apologies, of Ben Rosendale, who's back in third, and new young gun and Zach Fuller there on the Kiwi Ride NTB Racing Suzuki New Zealand SV650. So looking out for another start.
Yeah, lights are out and we are racing. Zach Fuller, a great jump, so he is going to have the run into turn one. Ben Rosendale is going to be there right behind him. SJ Cavell has to go up on the grass, so shock start for SJ Cavell. He had a good pretty jump there, and the number 5 up on the grass, so 6th place for SJ as we see Zach Fuller, Nathan Jane, Ben Rosendale, your top 3. They are flying at the moment. Jacob Stroud, he is on the Yamaha MT-07. He's there in 4th place, so pretty good for him. He loses a bit of horsepower down the straight, but great start for him. So we go racing. Zach Fuller, Nathan Jane and Ben Rosendale. These were the 3 classy competitors last weekend, and straight into it at round 2.
All right, so you've got Nathan Jane, Zach Fuller, Ben Rosendale, SJ Cavell and Jacob Stroud. They were your 5 top qualifiers of that. Jacob Stroud, of course, we know of his credentials, already a New Zealand Superlight champion with no Superlight racing anymore. Had an opportunity to come into this class, of course, already a Super Sport champion, so he's been winning titles over the last few years, and up against it in this one on that lesser powered Yamaha compared to the dominance of the Suzuki and Pro Twin Racing, but take nothing away. We know as Jacob a very good rider, but hey, is this a Zach Fuller day though, Brad?
It could be. This is here we also lap record hunting in this class, so the first of our flying laps. Zach Fuller, he leads Nathan Jane, Ben Rosendale. SJ Cavell's now up into 4th place ahead of Jacob Stroud, so that's a good start now. SJ, that's where he wants to be. Fortunately, no, he's down. Just put the commentator's curse on him, so he's down into the Castrol turn 3 left-hander. Drama for SJ Cavell. He's already crashed a Ruapuna last week, and unfortunately I've put the commentator's curse on him, so drama here as we see now the front 3 just sneaking off in the distance, so he's up and okay. But more drama for the number 5, the likeable man from the Hawke's Bay, SJ Cavell on the Eastworld Engineering CD Vandermeer Builders Suzuki SV.
Oh, bad luck. So there we go with SJ, one of the all-round nice guys, of course, chosen as riders rep for this event as well. More dust up there, Brad. That's a bigger puff of dust, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. We get an idea of the puff of dust, but it's come down to something out there. If we're going to go back to it, maybe able to see a Sky Sport next update of that one. I think it was back behind those guys. I don't know. It was one of those leading riders, although just in saying that, we got 3. Now, quite a gap back there. Quite a gap back now to 4th place. So maybe it was somebody who was in that 4th, 5th or thereabouts, Brad.
Yeah, so we go through the update at the moment. Zach Fuller ahead of Nathan Jane. Then we go back to Ben Rosendale. That's your top 3 at the moment. We go to Carl Hooper's now up into 4th place ahead of Jacob Stroud, Angus Boyd, Rob Whittle and Josh Augustine there in 8th place. So that's our drama-filled Pro Twin race. We've got 10 laps. We're already 2 laps into this one and a 1:09.1, so we're getting close.
All right, so 2 riders missing. We've SJ Cavell. We know we'd dropped SJ at the southern end of the circuit. The northern end of the circuit looks to be Doyle Matatau, so bad luck there to Doyle, we think. Resumed just with the puff of dust. He putting 2 and 2 together. Hopefully we've hit the formula, and have also hopefully hit the right equation of who we've got in the missing lineup. So looking at the 16th place of Joshua Double as well, he's on the 69 bike today. That's in fact the Dennis Charlotte Mega Motorcycle Centre Christchurch bike, with Joshua having his own bike problems. So nice to know that Joshua's been able to get a bike thanks to Dennis and Mega Motorcycle Centre, and be back on the racetrack, and certainly at the moment not out of contention. You think that 16th place, when your point scores go to 15th, you can still be in the action. Zach Fuller, an opportunity to lead racing. This is fantastic. Just 2 years in the Gixxer Cup. That's all the experience he's had. The little 13 horsepower, 150cc standard GSX Suzuki. in that little production-based class. But what's it given him? An opportunity to be on an SV, and this is a real man's bike, and to be doing this kind of racing already. This is effectively, you might like to say, Brad, I suppose, can we put into context, only probably about his sixth or maybe eighth big-time race if we add together what we had at Ruapuna, but through the Suzuki series as well. Came came of age for me at Cemetery Circuit at Whanganui. That was exceptional because he was up against the super lights, the likes of Lee Tidman and others, which are on purpose-built race bikes for those good Suzuki racing tracks. So, and he's just getting better every time he hits a racetrack.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant to see, and with the mentorship of Jared Love this weekend, that will be playing into his hands as well. Great to have the Love machine. He had good success around Levels Raceway, so great team effort there. The man from the Waikato, Zach Fuller, the one we're going to be talking about for many years to come on the Kiwi Rider Suzuki New Zealand. Barry Sheen, paint job replica SV650. He runs through the bus stop. Nathan Jane all over the back of him, trying to find a way through, but can't at the moment. A 1:08.9, so we're getting really close to that lap record pace. A 1:08.6 is the current lap record, so 0.3 off it at the moment. So here we go racing. Zach Fuller, I think with all the defending he's going to have to do, the lap record might just be getting suffered a little bit. Nathan Jane gets a great drive out onto the back straight, so we'll have a look for that one as they go hammer and tongs down the back straight. Ben Rosenau, all he can do is watch from the best seat in the house. He's about 20 bike lengths back down the back straight. Nathan Jane up the inside into John Jones Steele, the left-hander. I think he's got that done, so a great move and a change for the lead with 5.5 laps to go. We have Nathan Jane now leading this one.
All right, so we had Nathan, Zach and Ben in the order of qualifying, and that right at this moment is the order the top three are in the race. We've lost to SJ, Jacob, but not one to have featured. Hey, Carl Hooper, shouts out to Carl. That's a great result from Carl Hooper in there, and the number 28 doing oh so well. The man from Taupo on the Suzuki New Zealand, Bridgestone Tyres, Dynolab Taupo, Elf Lubricant, CH Automotive, Hellenbach Haulage, Rotor and Wing, Murta Crane Hire supported machine. So good on you, Carl, nice to see, and always good when somebody else's ill fortune, it can be somebody else's better fortune, and that's the exact case for Carl at the moment, and going well. And are we lap record, Brad?
Yep, lap record time. It is Nathan Jane on the 97, the R&R Power Sports machine. So that is a 1:08.453, so a new lap record for Pro Twin Racing, and fantastic stuff. Nathan Jane, our new lap record holder.
Wow, and there we go, and I'll tell you what, he might be a lap record holder, but it's still not his own way, just because he got past Zach, and that's more through a little bit of racecraft. I tell you what, Zach is stuck right with him. In fact, as they look to John Jones Steele, I look as if there's only about 2 bike lengths in it, so it's not as if he's cleared out. Yes, he might have got the fastest lap and that lap record. It's certainly not the case of him clearing out to take the lead, and Zach Fuller staying right there with him at the moment, Brad.
Yeah, he's right there into the McKissick curve. These two were a class act last weekend. Ben Rosendahl, he's got no answer for them as we go racing into the right-hand hairpin. Nathan Jane, he's at about half race distance, and around there we go. Nathan Jane, Zach Fuller, that is a classy top two at the moment. Ben Rosendahl, he is all alone in third place. He's got a pretty comfy margin back to Carl Hooper, who's having a great battle there with Jacob Stroud, so fourth and fifth. They're coming alive. We've also got Angus Boyd and Rob Whittle. They're having a little battle there. That'll be 5th and 6th place there. Josh Augustine, Nick Southerwood, Michael Patchett, some of your top 10 at the moment. So we go racing. Pro Twins, and brought to us by King Street Motors, right here in King Street, Timaru. So we go racing, and Zach Fuller's definitely not letting Nathan Jane get away with this one. So down the back straight, and still anyone's race at the moment.
I certainly thought at the point when we saw Nathan go past just 2 laps ago that he was going to start to smoke and clear away from Jacob. He's got, to my apologies from Zach, he's got better credentials. He's proved that in the past, and all of his experience, and we're seeing just what he's doing. But no way, in fact, it's as if Zach has used it as an opportunity to say, well, if you're going, I'm going with you, and hanging on his tail and doing extremely well. So beautiful to watch in that fight. It's just the 2-horse race out in front. They head down towards the Carter's valuation hairpin nicely to the right-hander, tightest right-hander that we've got on this circuit for sure. In fact, being a left-handed corner, there's not too many right-handers, but that one's a beautiful hairpin as they come around, and they come to what they call the bus stop, and that's the real flip-flop. So you go right and you go left in quick succession before coming down the Timaru Metal Recyclers straight. So great to see there, and the margin between them is in fact at 0.341, so that's effectively a third of 1 second, so there's nothing in there by time. And remembering this is ahead of a man who was pipped in the race to change that place earlier, but I tell you what, Zach's staying with him. Go Zach.
Absolutely flying down the back straight. Nathan Jane, he was a 1:08.9 that time around, so took a 10th of a second out of Zach Fuller, so that gap out to 0.3. It was a 0.2, but there's nothing in the ghetto. For 4th place as well. Ben Rosendahl, he's in 3rd place, pretty comfy, but Carl Hooper and Jacob Stroud, a great battle there. That's 4th and 5th place. Angus Boyd, Rob Whittle, they're also having a bit of a battle down the back straight at the moment, and Josh Augustine, Michael Patchett, That's a battle as well, so there's battles all around the track here, and we're getting to the business end. There's only going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line. It is still with Nathan Jane doing a brilliant job. Zach Fuller there in second place, and Ben Rosenau running at our top 3, but this battle for the lead still definitely not done for. There's less than a second in it as they head through the bus stop, and Nathan Jane, great to have Nathan back in Pro Twin Racing. Had a good 600 Supersport campaign. Now he's come back to Pro Twin Racing, and real class. He had a GP win last week, and Zach Fuller right on his tail.
All right, so here we are with our bike battles, and great to see, folks. By the way, if you just joined us, lap record broken in Superbikes, lap record currently broken in this class. Of course, once you break a lap record, it's not as if that changes, other than the fact that somebody else could get better. So as we saw in the Superbikes, Lachlan Epps broke the 11-year lap record held by fellow Australian Robbie Bugden. Then, 2 laps later, Damon Rees took that lap record off Lachlan Epps, and now he holds the lap record. So in this race at the moment, it is with our lead rider in Nathan Jane, who holds the lap record, having taken that one. In fact, if we go back to Pro Twins by Bailey Perrodin, set here 4 years ago in 2016. It is a young, capable man out of Canterbury, very good rider and a long-time campaigner. Bailey Perrodin, that was the year Bailey Perrodin and Dennis Charlotte went race for race. Oh man, they were just a handlebar to handlebar, race in and race out. I think in the end, one had one more win than the other. It was something like a 3 or 4 point victory in the end. They were either first or second each, depending on who got in front. So good on you, Bailey. Good to see. White flag, Brad.
Yeah, white flag time. 1 lap to go. Nathan Jane ahead of Zach Fuller. There's nothing in that still. It's less than a second when they cross the line. And then we go to third place still, Ben Rosendale. He has had the comfiest ride in the house. He's sitting there in third place doing a great job. Then this battle here, Carl Hooper and Jacob Stroud, that's 4th and 5th place as they cross the line. And there's less than a second in that one as well. So we'll watch this one. Nathan Jane and Zach Fuller. Zach Fuller pulling up right on the back wheel. So we'll see if he's got a last-ditch move. We've got to go up the inside. Zach Fuller, he's under brakes hard. Coming in late, and Zach Fuller, has he got it done? They're going to be nearly side by side as they come around John Jones Steele and Zach Fuller. He's got it done into McKissick on the last lap. He saved it all, and Zach Fuller now leads into the McKissick curve. Nathan Jane, he's going to argue straight back. He's right on the back wheel. This is electric stuff on the last lap of the Pro Twins race. He's not quite close enough to have a dive up the inside. He's going to leave the braking till very late. Zach Fuller done a wonderful job around the right hand. He gets good drive out of there. We're going to watch them through the left again. Nathan Jane has a big dive up there, but he's not close enough. They're going to go into the flip-flop. The bus stop here, Zach Fuller. This is going to be brilliant. He's got it done. So Zach Fuller on the number 80 machine. He's going to win the Pro Twin race, and he's ecstatic. The arm goes flying. Well done to Zach Fuller. He's going to win ahead of Nathan Jane, all on the last lap. What a move into John Jones Steele, and there it is.
And I think you'll find it could be a lap record, Brad. I think you'll find it could be a lap record. He might have just done it. Let's wait and see for the update. Keep an eye on that one. It could be a lap record as well. So as we saw with Superbikes, the lap record broken not once but twice. We've seen the lap record broken once in that race by Nathan Jane, and the change on the last lap, incredible from Zach Fuller. He still can't get over himself. He's still just thumping the tank. He's a guy that generally does not have a lot of emotion. That is fantastic to see. Man, he's got passion about it, and that was such a good ride. I thought for sure once Nathan had gone past, it seemed elementary that he'd get past. He showed how strong he was to force his way through, did it in style, but then once he went, man, oh man, Zach just stayed with him, lap after lap. Was only a third. Maximum he was up to was about 0.4 of a second off it, so well done. And no, I think it's still there with Nathan Jane, even though we saw a good lap by Zach late in the race. I don't think it was as good as Nathan Jane one, so Zach Fuller will have the win without a lap record, but I tell you what, a win is a win, and that's a quality win. Wow, Brad, this is exactly what this class needed, and this young man showing it today, and there's the Jared Love factor.
Oh, absolutely, that's fantastic. There's a lot of people that have helped Zach Fuller get to where his guys like Garth May from Garth May Farm Servicing, Veggie from Kiwi Rider. We've got Jared Love here, his dad Mark as well. There's a lot of people that have helped to get Zach Fuller to where he is, and it's just fantastic to get rewarded here with a race one win at round 2 at levels. He's ecstatic, waving away, and brilliant stuff. Well done to Zach Fuller. Well done to Nathan Jane as well. He gets a lap record out of that one as well with a 1:08.4, so brilliant stuff from him as we get some great track temperature and some good pace out there. Ben Rosendale, he was 12 seconds back, but a very good ride in third place, so he'll keep his championship chances well and truly alive, doing them no harm there whatsoever. A good third place. We've got a good fourth place for Carl Hooper ahead of Jacob Stroud. And then we also have Rob Whittle, Angus Boyd, Michael Patchett, Josh Augustine, Nick Southerwood, Vaughan Main, Phil Munn, Al Ware and Chris Burt, with Jace Augustine rounding out our top 15. So it was a change for fourth place there. Sorry, it was Jacob Stroud who got up into fourth place ahead of Carl Hooper. So some good championship points there for Jacob, as we're going to cross down to Neil, who's got our Pro Twins podium.
Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. That's certainly a wow factor to take into consideration there at the moment. That is just absolutely incredible. And Ben Rosendale, the three of you got off the line and those boys just took off.
Yeah, no, they got awesome pace this weekend. I didn't really have anything for them, to be honest, but I think if I got in front of them in that first lap, I'd have been able to hold them up for a bit. But no, they were riding awesome. I just got to try and find a little bit more pace for tomorrow, but yeah, no, another podium, man. So happy days, really.
Good to see, good to see. Great sport, Ben Rosendale there with that one. Oh, Nathan Jane, Zach Fuller, how was that for a battle? Nathan, that was you to push, then once you got past, he just then latched onto the back. You probably thought, I've got him past here, I'll be just taken off.
No, I knew he was right there. I figured out where I was a little bit stronger than him, but he was also stronger than me in some sectors, so I was not too sure if he was going to make a move or not. But he did, so good on him. It's awesome. We're really enjoying the racing, so yeah.
Yeah, that is a good factor, good factor. Hey, congratulations, Zach. Man, you are moving places in a very short time. What do you think's part of the secret of how quickly you moved up the rung? How good is it there today?
Oh, just the bike's handling wicked, eh? Just got it all dialed in this weekend. Thanks to Jared over there. Nah, we've been putting in the hard yards on Friday, and yeah, helped doing the Wednesday test day, and just more bike time. Still new, so yeah, no, it's wicked.
All right, a bit more fun round there on here on the Pro Twin compared to the Gixxers for 2 years?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you got the sliding around the track, and yeah, it's completely different, but it's, yeah, the Gixxer Cup.
Still important to do that that background though, isn't it, on the Gixxers?
The Gixxer Cup, yeah, that's like how it got me here, so yeah, no, it's wicked. Yeah, Gixxer Cup, this is the go, yeah.
Well done. Well, here we are, an awesome Pro Twin podium. How about that? The number one as good as third place. Nathan Jane looked to be the hot shot of the class, but pit by the new kid on the block and Zach Fuller. Some fantastic Pro Twin racing, all part of NZSBK 2020, round 2 here at Levels International Raceway. Yes, bring it home.
starting to get very, very excited. We've got a 10-lap Supersport 600 race, and we are already on lap record pace in qualifying as well. So this one here, supported by MTF Finance and Timaru, Steve and the team. Big thank you to them. So we're going to go racing a 10-lap to die for here. Dale Finch, what a pole position he got. Just went out, did the out lap, did a flying lap, did one more, and was under lap record pace, and put the bike back in the pits after that. So 2 laps and you get pole position. It's all boding well for the Scott Structural Triumph team. His teammate Ashton Hughes on the front row of the wood out there in 4th place. So we'll talk a bit about levels and how it is probably the shortest run into the first corner we get at NZSBK all season. So being on position 4, you're on the racing line, and it's a pretty short run into turn 1. So we'll keep an eye on that one there. The Scott Structural Triumphs, they are on the front row of the grid, both of them. Rogan Chandler's qualified well as well. He's in 3rd place. He's just dying for a good start. So if he gets a good start, he knows he's got the race pace. Richie Dibb, the class act of round 1. He rounds out the front row. In position 2, Seth Devereaux. We've got David Hall and Toby Summers there on the 2nd row. So we're about to go racing as the red lights come on, and this one here is underway. Great start from Richie Dibb on the Total Span Wanganui Garmick Engineering Barracks Bar in Wanganui. He goes through in 1st place. Ashton Hughes, we talked about on the racing line in position number 2 there. So we've got one down. Avalon Biddle is down, so we've got Avalon Biddle down. So unfortunate stuff for her. Drama here at NZSBK. So we go racing Richie Dibb, Ashton Hughes, and we've got Dale Finch and Toby Summers, your top 4. We've got Rogan Chandler up there as well. So classy stuff. We're nearly 3 wide as we go into John Jones Steel for the first time, and it is all on here. 600 Supersport action and drama as our defending champion Avalon Biddle. She's up and okay, but down in turn 1. Drama here.
Oh, she cannot buy a trick, at all. Avalon, just a terrible start to this year. Nothing's gone right for her whatsoever, let alone the fact you can have 1 lot of bad luck. She had 3 lots at the first round, starting from as early as qualifying, unofficial practice on the Thursday, and things 3 lots of bad luck, and in fact she's even on the backup bike for that point, and here she is to have gone down, and it's because it's such a tight corner, so close to the start, the shortest start straight of all. But here we are with the Richie Dibb show, out to show us his class. Head of Dale Fitch, that man who put in that magnificent qualifying run. You won't see the lap record on that lap because they've gone from a stationary start, so look for the pace to be on right from this very point. Tarbin Walker well back. Dylan Telford has not started. In fact, no, they've not started. Jacob Pearce, Avalon, of course, hasn't come past yet. So Jacob back there in 14th, Avalon for 15th when she does. If she does get past, in fact, no, probably not. I don't think she will. I don't think she would have got back on the bike. I'd say that was a handlebar down, which will mean that your race is effectively over at that point, so she will be gutted with a capital G. And this, after all, is MTF Finance sponsored, and of course MTF proud to be her sponsor as well. MTF, of course, a local finance firm that's been inspired to cover events for a number of years, and great to have them back on board with us this year. So MTF Finance, and of course right here in South Canterbury. So thank you to Steve and the crew. Neat to have you on board, and looking out for it, Brad. We're for a 4-way bike. I think we sort of saw a little bit of a pairing and a bit of a gap. Those other boys back in 3rd, they've caught up.
Yeah, so Dale Finch has got up in the lead. So Richie Dibb had a massive moment in turn 3. The back end lit up, and he didn't get the drive out onto the back straight. So Dale Finch picked him off. We've got a change for the lead. Dale Finch leads Richie Dibb. Ashton Hughes has got his hand full in 3rd place. We've got Toby Summers all over the back of him, and he's got a good drive out onto the back straight. So here we go. Richie Dibb up the inside of Dale Finch in the slipstream. So there we go. We've got 4 cylinders against 3 cylinders. So they'll have their strengths and weaknesses at levels. We've got Richie Dibb now up the inside. So change back for the lead. Richie Dibb goes back into the lead. We've got Dale Finch in 2nd place. Ashton Hughes and Toby Summers still in 3rd and 4th place. We've got Rogan Chandler ahead of Seth Devereaux and David Hall in there as well. So we've got some classy riders, and this is going to be an absolute doozy. Richie Dibb leaving Dale Finch at the moment.
All right, so there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're about that far apart, as I called them at a common point as we glanced over there towards the Carter's Valuation hairpin here at Levels International Raceway, the home of the South Canterbury Car Club. This magnificent circuit here on the beautiful Canterbury plains of the South Island's east coast. And there we are, looking at the update out there with Richie Dibb. And then, of course, we've got the duel going on there for the Scott Structural Triumph. Those boys are locked in there, so good work to see. And there's the update. So Dale and Ashton, teammates in there, separated by 0.868 of a second, so nothing between them. So Richie, Dale and Ashton, and go back to Toby Summers with Rogan Chandler having a very good start to the championship, but then unfortunately had a fall in one of the races last weekend, so a bit of a setback before we got him to be a more stable rider to get some consistent finishes later in the weekend. Fresh, of course, from his F2 victory during the recent Suzuki International Series, but can't quite get it right at this stage. But there you are with people like Avalon and Dylan Telford, two of them that have both crashed today and both out of racing. Man, it just goes to show you've got to be consistent. Winning's great, but you've got to be up in those podium places, all of the races to count. Remember, it's a 15 race championship with the 3 races per class at each of the 5 rounds. This is round number 2, and this is Super Saturday, so only the 1 race today with a further 2 tomorrow on the card for the 3 per race. But Brad, nothing in it for the battle on there.
Absolutely nothing in it at the moment. Dale Finch is right on the back wheel of Richie Dibbon. So the fastest man on track was Dale Finch at 1:05.0. So he was 2/10 quicker than Richie Dibbon on that lap around. So the gap less than 0.2 of a second. They go out of turn 3. This is where Dale got right on the back wheel last time around. So getting in the slipstream here at Levels is very crucial. We've got Dale Finch starting to pull out. He's gone around up the inside of Richie Dibbon. Is Richie going to be harder on the brakes? It's going to be a break off into the John Jones steel left-hander. I think Dale Finch has done a pretty good job there. So we could have a change for the lead. Dale Finch on the Scott Structural Triumph, OT Electrical Access Man, and all the good sponsors down there, Joe's Garage and the likes. Fantastic stuff from Scott Structure. They've got 2 in the top 3 at the moment, and race leader Dale Finch, who's doing a great job. Holding off Richie Dibbon at the moment. Ashton Hughes is still holding off Toby Summers, 3rd and 4th, but look at that, Rogan Chandler now on the back of that fight as well. So we could have a 3-way fight for the podium coming up when Rogan Chandler gets on the back wheel of Toby Summers. As we go through the bus stop, we're going to be at half race distance, 5 down at 5 to go here at this 10-lapper brought to us by MTF Finance.
Right, great to watch, and then the battles go on. Watch Rogan Chandler got up his sleeve. Can he do something there? He's back in that 5th place, and believe it or not, the margin is only 2.7 from 1st to 5th, so very little in it at the moment. Dale Finch, Richie Dibbon out there, so they've got the duel on. Then there's a fraction of a mark back to that 3rd, but then go 3, 4, 5. They are super close and exciting in there, and looking out for Toby. But here comes Rogan Chandler on the tail of Toby Summers. They look to go to John Jones Steel and Rogan in there. I think Rogan's going to get it, but of course one thing is to get it, the other thing is to hold it. You've got to come out of there and look like you're holding it. Yes, I think he has. So Rogan Chandler looks to push the Carl Cox Motorsport ace Auckland Super Summer Plumber in Toby Summers back to that 5th place. So there we are, is what Brad was talking about, a hot 3-way fight to see who can get to that 3rd place on the podium. 1st and 2nd all over each other, chopping and changing quicker than the weather can over this summer, and it's the advantage at this stage as we fight it out, and all on there at the moment. Here we go. Dale Finch, former South Island Speedway star. In fact, this man is effectively in the top 3 in New Zealand Speedway for many years, and Dale Finch doing it and loving the change here to road racing. And Brad, he's electrifying here. Man, when we put him to Zach Fuller comments, when we put him to Damon Rees going back to Superbikes with young Lachlan episode, of course, we're all talking about all the young guns firing today.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff. Dale Finch, Richie Dibbon, what a great battle this is. There's still nothing in it as they head down the back straight. They've changed positions about half a dozen times in this one. We've got the battle for 3rd now heating up with Ashton Hughes under pressure now. Rogan Chandler's going to be right on the back wheel of the Scott Structural Triumph there, so that's 3rd and 4th. We've got Toby Summers now in 5th place. Seth Devereaux and David Hall, they're having a fight as well. So with 3.5 laps to go, there's battles all around the track, and it's still with Dale Finch. Look at Richie Dibbon on the total span. Wanganui, Garmick Engineering, Bernard Racing, GSXR 600. He's going to be right on the back wheels. They go around the right-hander, and Richie just gets a bit of a moment as he gets on the gas, but flying through the left. Got the bus stop to go. This is a great part of Levels International Raceway. Dale Finch doing a brilliant job. Richie Dibbon 2nd. Then we go Ashton Hughes, Rogan Chandler. Rogan's going to have a big dive up into the 1st corner, you'd imagine. I don't know if he's close enough. He's going to hang on there, but that's a full 3-way fight. Toby Summers has come back into that one. So 3rd, 4th and 5th. Throw a blanket over those 3 at the moment. So the battle for the podium heating up. We've got 4 laps to go.
All right, it's all on at the moment. Here we go. Check it out. Dale Finch, Speedway star for the number 1 position ahead of Richie Dibbon, Supermoto star, of course, having a dab last year in 600 racing. Wasn't super successful and did the right things. Knuckled down with some great racing at ASBK by going through to Australia to get their championship, and that really got him on board, of course, with his mentor and awesome mechanic in there, and Brian Bernard. You can't do better than Bernard Racing to be in your camp behind the scenes. So has come out this year and storming, firing, and certainly looking great. Rogan Chandler got the better of Richie over the Suzuki series, but I tell you what, Richie loving it down here in the south and putting in some good results, and potentially as we look out for that other change going on, Keen just to watch to see what Rogan Chandler's doing. Can Rogan get up there? Has he made it for third? Let's wait and see. Brad will give us the update.
Yes, he's in there. He did it into the hairpin. So we've got Rogan Chandler now into third place. So it is Dale Finch, Richie Dibbin. Then go to Rogan Chandler ahead of Ashton Hughes and Toby Summers now. So 3 laps to go, and it is all on here. So we've got great pace from our front two. They've cleared off in the distance. They've got quite a few second gap back to third place, which is now Rogan Chandler on the Blue Crew Lazu R6 Yamaha there. We've got the number 4 machine, that's Ashton Hughes on the Scott Structural Triumph, and then we've got the 22, the Carl Cox Motorsport Mad Love Media Kawasaki of Toby Summers. So all the manufacturers well represented in the top group at the moment, but it is still Dale Finch ahead of Richie Dibbin.
All right, keen to look out for the others in the field because we've still got some awesome guys, likes of David Hall, Seth Devereaux, and Nick Kane, Jordan Burley, Tarbin Walker, and the list goes on. In fact, Nick Burke. Nick Burke has just moved up, so 2 Nicks in there, Nick Kane, Nick Burke, not to be confused. Nick Burke, proud to call him our Hamilton Motorcycle Club Kawasaki Winter Series winner of 2019. We know how quality he is in racing, so nice to see that Nick's starting to make a move in our 600 Supersport class here. And have we got it? Yes, 1 to go.
Yeah, white flag out, so Dale Finch ahead of Richie Dibbin in that one. So we've got almost touching as they go down into turn 3. Brilliant stuff from Richie Dibbin. He's got the white flag out. He's got the Motard experience. He knows how to come alive right at the end of the race. We've got 1:04.8 there, so not quite lap record pace for those guys, but still flying as we see Dale Finch there ahead of Richie Dibbin, but there's going to be a move, it's going to be a change, I think there is. Yes, it's up the inside, Richie Dibbin. Brilliant stuff, Richie Dibbin. So we saw that from Damon Reeves. White flag moves are coming alive here at levels at round 2 of NZSBK, and it is now the number 9 of Richie Dibbin in the lead of this one. Dale Finch, he's done most of the hard work in this one. He's going to be desperate to get a race win, but he has a big moment out of the seat coming out of McKissick, so probably just gives quite a good advantage to Richie Dibbin. They go round the right-hander. The battle for third is also heating up as they head into the hairpin there with Rogan Chandler narrowly holding off for Ashton Hughes. So we go into the bus stop, and Richie Dibbin has done a fantastic job. He is going to take another win in the 600 Supersport class ahead of Dale Finch, and then the battle for the podium is going to stay with the 15 of Rogan Chandler, narrowly ahead of Ashton Hughes, and then Toby Summers. So what a top 5 that is. Brilliant pace, and Richie Dibbin, what a move, saved it all for the last lap, and what a classy performance. So the man from Wanganui on the Dibbin Sports, Barracks Bar, Total Span Wanganui, Mike Paul Inspections, Garmick Engineering, Suzuki, did all the work right when it counted, and that is brilliant.
4th win, of course, for him, 4th win, and a top pole from last week. Only got runner-up in the pole today, so he's about 95% if you want to call it by statistics, so not bad. And hey, the other big news in that one, Seth Devereaux in the last lap for Seth, getting up to get that 6th place and pushing David Hall back to 7th. And we know how good that David is as a performer on our 600 class, so well done to the Taumuri Dairy Farmer in there. But it is the man from Tapanui, out of Dwayne Service Centre. It is Seth Devereaux to get the great glory for Southland, and of course on their Helicraft MV Augusta, the beautiful triple. So nice work there for Rod and the team behind the scenes. So great to see, and of course with so many quality people looking after Seth, good to know that he's getting the results to go with it and got consistency, unlike unfortunately Avalon Biddle, who has crashed out and earlier from qualifying. So too with Dylan Telford, 2 of our top 5 stars gone from the lineup even before we've gone to turn number 2 of our first race. MTF Finance, love having you on board, MTF. Thank you very, very much, Steve and the crew. You'll find them, of course, here at the moment in Timaru. They're at home at Hobb Street, just there by Pack and Save, or Timaru at mtf.co.nz. MTF Finance has been helping hard-working Kiwis to get ahead since 1970. Talk to MTF Finance Timaru about your next motorbike upgrade or repair. Drop into them at 3 Hobb Street, or give them a call on 0368666068. We'd love to help, and that's what they've been doing, helping New Zealanders to do more since 1970. MTF Finance Timaru.
Brilliant stuff. Yet another win for Richie Dibbin on the number 9. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So he is there, locked in a 1:04.588. So 4 100ths of a second off lap record pace, but that lap record still remains with Alistair Hugenbosom from 5 years ago. So almost a lap record, but there it is for Richie Dibbin. Passed on the last lap and puts Dale Finch back into 2nd place. A great podium for Rogan Chandler too. That's exactly what he wanted to do to start his weekend. So classy top 3. We've got Richie Dibbin ahead of Dale Finch and Rogan Chandler. We're going to cross now to Deal, who will do our podiums.
Yeah, Dr. Steve here to round out the applause as well, and there's that awesome common factor again, just as we saw with Superbike, 3 out of 3 on Pirelli. It's 3 out of 3 on Pirelli for Supersport 600 as well, in a fantastic class. First of all, Rogan might have been a winner in the Suzuki Series, but the secret of that was consistency. Hey, you've got to be happy with that because you had to work hard. You well earned a great third place.
Yeah, I got off to a rocky start, sort of seems usual for me, but yeah, just plugged away, sort of caught up to Toby and Ashton towards the end there, and I think I had just a bit more tyre than them, so able to make a few quick passes and, yeah, get it done. So I'm pretty happy to finally get it on the podium. It's been a rough start to the year for us, so I think we start here and we keep chipping away. It should be good.
Good to see you. All right, what's levels like out there today?
It's grippy. That new reseal is insane. Like, it tries to rip your knee slider off, so I think the track's a lot better, and, yeah, hopefully next race I can get a good start. And these guys are so fast, so maybe try and get on the back of them.
I think we're getting an idea as to why the lap records are going today with a seal upgrade here as well. But oh, what a race, Dale! First of all, congratulations qualifying on pole, and you had a fair chunk of that race to let little guy. Is he a slimy character? What do you regard him as?
Oh, he sure is. He had a big moment. I thought he was off, but he managed to hold on. He just rides like a jockey on his toes. It's good to follow. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that race. I made a few mistakes near the end. It's pretty hard to lead, especially when you're running on the grass in places, and I was struggling to get out of turn 3, but congratulations to Rich. He rode a really good race.
Beautiful words, beautiful words. Hey, you got some cool people behind you, man. What an improvement you made this year.
Oh, yeah. It's great having the family and Jaden come on board and Brendan from Aotea. They've been there supporting, and there's no pressure. They just want you to go out and just ride your own race and have fun. And when you're having fun, you're enjoying it and you're putting down the laps.
Great to see, great to see. But here he is, of course. We've had a quick equation. Top qualifier once, 3 wins. Second qualifier and now another win. So that's about 95% record. Not quite the Hyundai for that one, Richie. But man, have you got to be happy.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, same as Dale, I made a few mistakes in that, and after the turn, the lap 1, there's a bit of grass and that on the track, and I came through there, and I was up out of the seat, and yeah, I thought she might have been all gone there, but managed to pull her off, and yeah, put in some laps, and Dale made some mistakes, and we were just sort of tippy-toeing around in that, and then yeah, just made a bit of a move on that last lap, and yeah, pulled it off. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and so he should be too. Hey folks, what an awesome podium. Here we go, Supersport 600, looking hot, and why not? And here's your awesome trio. So let's see them. Have a good restful night tonight. I'm sure the 3 will be back again tomorrow. Supersport Racing by MTF Finance right here. Bring it on. Well, we saw in our race preview that we had Dean Watsey busy down in the pits there helping James Hoogie, and we've got Dean to join us as we build up to our 300 Supersport class, and former campaigner of this class. And last week for that Grand Prix race at Christchurch, 7 riders in the top bunch, and 5 of them at one stage had their nose in front. And Dean, as we build up for this, hasn't 300 has really come on as an awesome class?
Yeah, it has. The class has grown and it's just brought more boys up the front. That top group, especially this weekend, toe is very important, and it's also very hard to get away down the straight. And the rest of it's nice slow in corners. So if you've got a good setup bike, power doesn't matter here. So it should be interesting. I expect at least 10 in that top group.
All right, I think we've got an idea. We talked about lap records going, and we just heard the comment from Rogan that there was that much grip he was scared the knee slider was going to be ripped off his leather. So maybe it's the resurfacing that's giving an indicator as to partly the reason why we're seeing those faster times this year.
Yeah, I rode very early on when that resurfacing was done, and it was quite slippery, but it's really gripped up over the past few months, obviously curing in the sun, and it sounds like it's even grippier than what it was at Southern Classic. So yeah, even then it did. You could feel the grip when your knee touched the ground there. So I expect lap times and records to keep going all weekend.
Right, indeed. Thank you, Dean. So good to see Brad, our 300 class man. Did we get excited last week? And here on a tighter circuit, which is going to be more suitable for 300s, this is going to be explosive.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be brilliant. We qualified earlier today, and Jacob Stroud is already under his lap record in qualifying, so that's his own lap record he set here last year. So the mark is a 1:12.132, and Jacob was a 1:11.6, so he is half a second under lap record pace. We've also got another one, Nathaniel Diprose. He's under lap record pace in qualifying as well. Harry Parker's right on lap record pace. He's the local man, and we've got some great talent. Biggles Racing, they're set to come alive. They are ready to go. We've got Blake Ross. He said as far as the Ninja 300 is concerned, this is a tough track for him, but he's going to be right there. He's in 5th place. Hamish Fox, Caleb Gilmore, and we've got two Biggles guys, one on the front row and one on the outside of the second row. So we're about to go. Marshals are in, and we're ready for the lights to come on. So here we go. 300 Supersport Racing is about to get underway at round 2 here at Levels, and we go. We'll got a bit of movement from the outside of the front row, so we'll see what the officials picked up there. When Nathaniel Diprose and Jacob Stroud having a drag race into the first corner. Jacob Stroud's going to lead that one. Harry Parker 3rd place. We've got Jason Hearn in 4th. Blake Ross a great start. He's in 5th place. So here we go. We see that, and already a big train of them. 300 Supersport action as we get out of turn 3. Jacob Stroud, and how many times is the lead going to change in this one? This straight here is all about the slipstream. So we see Harry Parker getting a good slipstream on Nathaniel Diprose. He's going to try and pull up alongside him. We've got action aplenty as we all get away pretty cleanly here at race 1, 300 Supersport.
All right, down to John Joe Steele. 13 of them in the first pack, 13 in that pack before there's a gap any bigger than about 20 bike lengths. So fantastic to see as our Hyundai South and Mid Canterbury medical vehicle follows the field through, just to know they're all okay. Won't go the full lap with them, just goes the inside run to see that anything. And of course proved last week when there was an incident on that open lap to be right there with medical care and support. You see that with World Superbikes with the Alfa Romeo. Yes, we can do it here in New Zealand courtesy of Hyundai South Canterbury as we get ready to go racing. And check it out at the moment. There's that we can clearly see the gap, but I'll tell you what, look at this from Jacob Stroud, man. He has set a mark already, and I did not expect to see that. That would be maybe 10 bike lengths in there. Wasn't expecting to see something as big as that. Thought he was going to run with them. And it looks to be Caleb Gilmore, and the reason I say looks to be, I didn't even glimpse his number, but I'll tell you what, the size of the jockey, such a tiny little pilot, and I think he's the one that's locked and loaded into that for a very good second. Brad will confirm for us shortly, but I tell you what, looking pretty hot, or was it? How we go, Brad?
Harry Parker, that's in second place, so the local man Harry, but he's about to get overtaken. Nathaniel Diprose pulls up alongside him down the back straight here at Levels. Jacob Stroud, this is a much better Jacob Stroud. He had a few brake issues last round and just wasn't quite happy with the bike, so he's come here and already loving what he's got going on there. So Jacob Stroud has got the number 1 on his bike. He won one of the races here last year. It was Harry Parker that won the overall on the weekend. He's just got back up into second place there as well. We've got battles all around. The Biggles Racing team, they've come alive as well with Jason Hearn right in behind Nathaniel Diprose. So he's in 4th place. Blake Ross, Caleb Gilmore, and Dave Fellows, a good start. Dave Fellows, he's up there as well on the end of that group. So Jacob Stroud already with 10 bike lengths advantage as he heads out of the hairpin, goes left again around on the entrance to the bus stop. So we are going to go lap record hunting. The first of the flying laps is about to be completed. completed, and if it's anyone, it's going to be Jacob Stroud. He's the fastest man on the circuit at the moment, and crossing the line with a 1:12.06, so that is a new lap record, so 1:12.06. That's his own lap record from last year, so there we go, new lap record already. That's the third one for the day, and we've only had 4 classes run. This is electric stuff here at NZSBK.
Right, back with Dean for the expert comments. Jacob Stroud's bolted, and the others almost look to be doing block passes and slowing each other down, not getting the slipstream as they should, so that's going to suit into Jacob's favour.
Yeah, I was watching that. It's okay slipstreaming down the straight with these two. There's mainly Nathaniel and Harry there that just make sure they don't trip each other up through the infield and really slow each other down, which is at this stage is really helping Jacob to get that break. He's going to break that toe, and he'll just be able to sit there for the final 6 or so laps.
All right, great to see, and we're all talking about at the moment is Jacob Stroud. There it is, lap record, third lap record to be broken today, and we're only into our 4th race. And but these conditions just so nice indeed. Normally a little hotter here at this time of year, and of course that plays into the hands of tyre wear. Therefore the speed's got to drop off. But with these track temperatures more suited to good time racing, and with the dryness of the area around it, it just really is suiting for everything to go perfect for great lap times, and that's what we're seeing. 1, 2, 3, 4 as they go past. They are super quick and exciting and fast as we see the still all on there for Jacob Stroud. He's bolted, Brad.
Yeah, we've got a new lap record for Nathaniel Diprose this time around, so a 1:11.975. So I'm not even going to write that on my piece of paper in front of me because I think it's going to go again. So a 1:11.975. Nathaniel Diprose now the fastest man on the track and took a couple of tenths out of Jacob Stroud that time around. We've got a change for third place. The Biggles Racing man of Jason Hearn, he's gone up into third place, but right as I say that, Harry Parker's going to argue straight back down the back straight and put it back into third place. So the battle for third, toing and froing at the moment. You've got Blake Ross right there handy in 5th place, Caleb Gilmore and Campbell Grayling. They're coming alive at 6th, 7th place there. Hamish Fox and Josh Goddard. What a good performance from Josh Goddard there on the Race Supplies R3 there. So we're classy racing, and look at this one. Nathaniel Diprose definitely reeling him in, I think. So keep an eye on this one. We're going to look at the margin. We've got contact there. So Harry Parker and Jason Hearn contact into the hairpin. Jason had to stand up. There was definite contact there. So some pretty bold moves going on into the hairpin, and Jason Hearn back racing again, but lost a lot of position, a lot of ground. So he's in there behind his teammate now. So drama for Biggles Racing as we go racing. Have a look at the lap record time, and Nathaniel Diprose goes under, beats his lap record again. So a 1:11.6. Nathaniel Diprose continues to eat into Jacob Stroud's lead, and it's under a second now. So 0.6 of a second when they cross the line.
All right, Dean, here we are. Nathaniel Diprose on the attack, the only way to describe it. Once he got past out of the traffic, he was looking pretty good. Can he get that man out in front?
It's going to be interesting to see. He's running out of laps, but keep continuing by setting that record pace, and he's going to come into that slipstream area, so he's going to get a lot more toe, which will make it easier to set these times. Last weekend they struggled all weekend with front brake issues. They overhauled the front caliper, and it still didn't help. So it was on Friday early morning. I had to walk past and fitting a brand new front brake master cylinder. So it's clearly helped, clearly solved that issue, and it's proving well to be able to set those times.
Good to see. So there we are with our bike fact. We're talking about the Auckland man, Nathaniel Diprose, out of support from Coleman Suzuki on K Road, and this young man heading places in New Zealand motorcycle racing, of course, when it comes to other classes that he's tackled along the way as well. Nothing there, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and he certainly has got some credits, and they're mounting, but so too is his attack on this one. Had terrible races with DNFs and run out of brakes in races 1 and 2 last weekend. We thought it was all over for him, but man, he came back to win the Grand Prix when it counted, and here he is right on attack and looking good. Can he? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, somebody on the outside. Yes, in fact, there's the bike on the outside of the track down here. We've got Dean, he's having a look through the binoculars for us, but I would suggest with the way the bike is there, there's no sign of a rider. I think the rider's got up and left, and that's the right thing. They've instructed that at briefing this morning to say, hey, if you've got problems, no recovery required, just get out of the way, look after yourself, and I think they've done exactly that. And Brad, we're seeing Nathaniel Diprose, he's the one to break the record, so the lap record's gone 3 times, and he's got 2 of them.
Yeah, he is flying at the moment. He's right on the back wheel of Jacob Stroud as they go into the McKissick curve, and brilliant stuff from that. The one ahead of the 88. Then we've got Harry Park. He's in quite a lonely ride in 3rd place now, but good job there. Caleb Gilmore's up into 4th place, so he's doing a good job there. Blake Ross back into 5th, but he's under pressure now. Campbell Grayling and Jason Hearn now piling the pressure on in that battle there. So the Biggles Racing boys looking for a bit of a late race move. We're at half race distance as we see through the bus stop we go. Jacob Stroud ahead of Nathaniel Diprose. That's the battle for first, and it's really heating up. So we cross the line 4 laps to go now. Harry Parker, 3rd place, doing a good job. Caleb Gilmore now under a lot of pressure. Both Biggles Racing boys are right there next to Caleb Gilmore, and Campbell Grayling around the outside of turn 1. So a big move there from Campbell Grayling, and he's made it stick too. So no mucking around here. Biggles Racing is on the move, as we see down the back straight at the moment, and fantastic stuff. So Nathaniel Diprose right on the back of Jacob Stroud. We've got 3rd place, pretty handy for Harry Parker, and now look at this, Caleb Gilmore going to argue straight back on Campbell Grayling. So look at this racing, absolutely fantastic, and 3.5 laps to go. It's still anyone's race.
Indeed, you've come off a 325 to be part of Bar 3 and Yamaha racing this. People had said that they thought the Yamaha had the advantage this year. Hey, that's 2 KTMs out in front. How's that working?
Yeah, not too sure. There's 2 KTMs from 2 different years. The new model has to run a slightly different setup to the older model, just due to the rules and the way that they work. And they're both just as competitive, so it goes to show it doesn't matter if you need a new one or an old one. The R3, unsure why they're down. I know the Biggles boys had Campbell had a crash in practice, and they just made it to get him out to qualifying. Riders, he's absolutely fine. He just needs a bit more time to get his confidence back up. And Jason, they had a fuel issue all Friday. They haven't had many laps. They've managed to ride around the issue. They've still got a problem with fueling, but it goes to show that he's able to ride around it well enough to be up here.
There you go. There's always a story behind the results that you're seeing that you can't see visibly on the racetrack, because all of a sudden those other Yamaha and the Biggles boys in particular, they were dominant at Ruapuna. We know this is a very different track from Ruapuna, but all of a sudden we're seeing some different results, and particularly the KTM and the single out there. Normally a good bike, of course, to punch its way through for the tighter infield, but it's not losing any legs along this straight, Brad, and it's a flying good ride from those 2 boys. And I just get the idea, I thought that Nathaniel, my apologies, was going to be able to punch his way through there, but Jacob's keeping him at bay.
Yeah, Jacob's doing a good job. Yeah, the KTM, the single cylinder engine is a little bit better when you're on the side of the tyre, so the mid corner speed's fantastic on these single cylinder bikes, so that's where they come alive, and that sweeping left hander, then they go hairpin as well. We've got Jacob Stroud ahead of Nathaniel Diprose, but Nathaniel is the closest he's been all race. When they go around out of there, they go left again, and on the way to the bus stop, it is Jacob Stroud under a lot of pressure now. Nathaniel Diprose piling it on right on the back wheel, so we're going to have 2 laps to go, and heating up here, so the battle for first. Nathaniel's not quite close enough, so he's probably going to just stalk him and have a look down the back straight. Harry Parker there, he's still solid in 3rd place. Campbell Grayling's ahead of Blake Ross and Jason Hearn, so Caleb Gilmore's the big loser in that fight there. He's dropped right back out of that fight, so here we go. Let's have a look at Nathaniel Diprose down the back straight. This is the closest he's ever been, and almost had a look last time around. He's running out of time to make a move, and here it is. Jacob Stroud does a great job, goes right over to the left-hand side, so if Nathaniel's going to do it, he's going to have to do a big bold move under brakes, but here we go. Around John Jones Steele, and Jacob Stroud still in control of this one, so keep an eye on this one. 1.5 to go.
Well, the commentary box is on such an angle that when they're going up towards John Jones Steele, it's hard to judge the distance. Not till they turn the big beautiful 90-degree super sweeper to the left that you get an idea of how close they are. And I'll tell you what, Nathaniel was on to it, but unfortunately not in front of it, so he might be having a good go there, but can't make it stick as they come round towards Carter's Valuation Hip, and that beautiful tight right-hander that tucks back on the inside. Remember, you've been on the left of the tyre for so long. It is the corner that catches people out. We saw that with the collision before, and there they are, still to hang in there. So here we are, down for the wire, and white flag out there, Dean.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this last lap, see whether I'd like to think that Nathaniel was just held back, and he's not really ready to show his hand for his final lap. Hope they get a last minute block pass and run to the line.
Well, of course, the bike he's on is the GVR, the Gab Beltmire Racing 390, and here we go. Now looking at it. Look at that, getting right up the side. There he is to get that slipstream. What answers has Jacob got? They're almost, of course, they'll be absolutely tapped from a top gear engine point of view. There they are, side by side. Has he made it stick, or is it still going to be with Jacob? No, Nathaniel. Oh, look at them. They go around side by side. It might even have come back in favour, Brad, of Jacob Stroud. Has he been able to hold it?
Yeah, it is Jacob Stroud still there. It's Jacob Stroud. We can see the number 1 still in the front as they go left into the awesome McKissick curve. Decreasing radius left-hander, it's just gets tighter and tighter. There's about 4 apex you hit, then you flick it right. Jacob Stroud still on this one. Is Nathaniel close enough to have a look? No, he's not. It's going to be Jacob Stroud. How good's the drive out of there? We've got a couple of corners left. Nathaniel's right on there, so is it going to be a move into the bus stop? Nathaniel Diprose, this is desperation stuff. The white flag has been out. The checkered flag is ready and waiting, and Jacob Stroud has a good defensive line through the bus stop, and checkered flag time. Jacob Stroud's going to hold on. Nathaniel Diprose. What a race that was. Harry Parker's going to get some good championship points there in 3rd place. And in this battle here, Caleb Gilmore ahead of the Biggles Racing team. So Caleb ahead of Jason Hearn, and then Campbell Grayling. in there. We'll keep an eye on the update for that one. But what a race that was. 10 laps of fury, and wow, have we seen some last lap moves, or what? I don't think I've ever seen the lead of races change more on one single day than we have today. It's been fantastic. So last lap racing has been electric here, and Jacob Stroud, that's why he's got the number 1 on the bike. What a good move.
Right, indeed, racing brought to us by Mr. Boats, obviously, as the name says it all. Your local boating area. Of course, we're here on the east coast of the South Island. Beautiful lot of boating to be done out here at sea, of course, with the prevailing westerly winds here in New Zealand. The east coast is a great side of the country to be going boating on. But, of course, for that matter, we can go out, of course, here into the Mackenzie country and go into the beautiful lakes. We can go to the canals and we can go around. You know, there's Ohau and Tekapo and other beautiful places up here towards central Otago. And for that matter, of course, all the way through for the likes of Wanaka or Whakatipu. So much quality boating here. It is Mr. Boats at www.mrboats.co.nz.
All right, we will go to the update. Jacob Stroud wins ahead of Nathaniel Diprose and Harry Parker. That is your podium. Brilliant stuff from Caleb Gilmore on the last lap to get back into 4th place ahead of Jason Hearn. We'll go to Campbell Grayling in 6th place. Blake Ross gets the 7th place with Hamish Fox in 8th. Billy Foskett a good 9th place. Luca Durning, great top 10 from Luca. Josh Goddard there in 11th. You go to Kane Bentley there. That's 12th place with Regan Bray and Dave Fellows running at your top 14. So brilliant stuff. 300 Supersport, thanks to Mr. Boats. And what a duel. Jacob Stroud and Nathaniel Diprose, but it is the number 1 of Jacob Stroud credited with the win. Nathaniel gets the 2nd, and Harry Parker rounding out your podium on the MTF Finance RST. The Yamaha Blue Crew R3 will cross down to Neil, who will do our podium.
Well, an opportunity to get ourselves trackside already. Nathaniel Diprose, I thought you had him, mate. Why couldn't you make it stick?
Oh, well, pretty hard track to pass on, really. I mean, I was close on a few occasions, but yeah, Jacob had a good pace, and it was hard to try and force anything past him. So I'm happy with 2nd.
Oh, indeed. How's the bike problem? No more of the gremlins?
Yeah, it's going good now. I can actually stop consistently, and without the brake binding on, it's real nice to ride now with everything working.
Right, you've been keeping in contact with Gav. Happy with the performance of his bike?
Yeah. He had a bit of contact, a bit of conversations about the bike issues last week, but good we got that all sorted, and yeah, he's happy now.
Well done. Nathaniel Diprose, an awesome 2nd place. Harry Parker, best seat in the stand, mate. These two were fighting for it. That was World War III up there, but you had to keep the others at bay. They were right behind you.
Yeah, I actually pulled a gap on them at the start, but I couldn't get it into gear. I think I had false neutral out of the hairpin. Then I looked back and they were all on my tail again. And I think I had a close call with Jason at the hairpin. I've got all tyre marks up the side of me, so I'm sorry, Jason, if you listen to this, but it was an awesome race, and these boys rode good, and I can't thank the team enough for giving me such a good bike to be on this podium.
All right, indeed. Hey, you deserve it, mate. This is your home track. What's it like out there today?
It's pretty tough, but I'm still loving it. You can't beat this track. It's probably one of the favourite tracks in New Zealand for me, and love every bit of it.
Well done, Harry. Beautiful words, beautiful words. Jacob Stroud, well, mate, you bolted in the early stages, but they hunted you down, but you held them at bay.
Yeah, no, we went. We knew we had the pace from qualifying to go, so we went and, thought we were in pretty good lap times in the 11s pretty much every lap, under the lap record pace. But, Nathaniel he's been coming along really strong lately, and the bike, the Gavin Veltmeyer bike he's got underneath him is an absolute weapon. Hats off to him for getting there, but, it was good to only have to block for one lap, this weekend instead of last weekend, where it was for the whole 10. But, it's good to got an amazing bike behind me. KTM and D6M Motorsport have done an amazing job, making a bike that that might not be the fastest on the track, but might be the fastest legal bike on the track. And the Bridgestones that held strong the entire race. So really can't complain. We had a few off-track issues this weekend, but we preferred talking on the track. So we just put a package underneath me that was could do that, and great race.
Well done. Look at that. Here's some quality words from these three guys. Look at them, folks. All young, all growing in our sport. 3 lap records on that occasion. Jacob got it the first time. Nathaniel got it back from him on 2 further occasions. So we're smashing it here today. The local man, Harry, or Larry as they call him, has come through here today as well. So we're having a whole lot of fun. This is NZSBK 2020. We're going fast. Well, Dean Watson to stay with us for this one. Dean, 150 racing. Yes, we've got our Gixxers by production standards. They don't put out the same as the Yamaha does, so it's fair at the moment that we acknowledge them separately. But it says still huge potential for this class because the other manufacturers, there's hints that there'll be other bikes to come and join us. And I would say by next year, hopefully fields of 20 to even 30 in this 150. Perfect introduction for people to come motorcycle racing.
Yeah, it's such a cheap class to get into for the young kids. So cost isn't an issue, and you can run a bike on the smell of an oily rag all season. And they're not fast. They're not super scary straight up. You don't have suspension and other things to worry about to set up like you do on a 600 and a 300 to a lesser point.
Tyres last the season? Almost?
Not sure how many tyres these guys are running, but they should last a full season without too much of an issue. They don't have the power or the weight to push the rubber into the ground and wear them out. So again, that's one of the big costs of racing is rubber, and you need it. But these here, they're all weather tyres, so you don't need to run a spare set of wheels or anything. So you can, no matter what the weather is, it takes all that stress out. The bigger classes have. And it teaches you racecraft. You don't have much. All the bikes are the same, so you don't have much of a power advantage to ride around. You've got to ride them around the corners.
Yeah, here indeed, courtesy of Timaru Signs and Graphics, Paul Smith, Earth Moving and Carter's Tyre Services, some of our local sponsors. We love it here at Levels, and away we go. Oh, one of them mucked it completely there, Brad.
Yeah, Jacob Pearce didn't quite get the jump he wanted, just dropped the clutch lift to the front wheel. So he's dropped back into about 4th place at the moment. Cormac Buchanan gets a good start, he's out flying. Then we go back to Liam Hum there at 2nd place. Jacob has got up into 3rd with Ollie Cotton. Now, Ollie Cotton on the version 2, he had drama with the engine last week. So great to see some people getting together and getting him back on the racetrack. So fantastic. Supersport 150 action, the inaugural season as a championship, and we get the Jigsaw 150 Cup as well. We're underway with that. Sam Guthrie gets a good start ahead of Tyrone Kuipers, and there's a good 5-pack there. So Jigsaw 150 Cup, they're off the line as well. 2 races within the same 6-lapper here, and Cormac Buchanan leads the Supersport 150s.
Well, of course, Jigsaws have been at home with the Suzuki International Series for a number of years. Some fantastic entries. Probably one of the highlights of racing I ever called was the Jigsaw Cup race during the NZSBK 2019 at Mighty Manfield in Manawatu back in March last year, when we had 11 riders and an entire wave of those. And the man back in 9th place, Cameron Goldfitch, actually got the lap record. He was in 9th place because the others were just dragging along. Slipstream with a capital S, and fantastic to see at that kind of level. And this is what we want to really introduce from this. And now that other manufacturers are coming along, it's not quite the perfect level playing field, but I know we're going to get there in time. So Bring It On 150 is this a great introduction, an opportunity to get into racing with a complete package for your $3,000, $4,000 and $5,000 mark. So this is going to make it super affordable, as Dean's outlined. Tyres are affordable as well, because you won't go through many sets in the year. But of course, and with it as well, you still have all your good quality riding gear and safety apparel, which means that anybody can effectively get out on track and give it a go. And during the series, actually, we had 3 girls giving it a go as well. So we had Eve, Olivia, and Lucy in there as well. So, and some of them here today, Brad.
Yeah, we've also got Maddie Berry as well. She's done some good girl power. She's moving to the Auckland area and mechanic by trade. So great to have Maddie Berry out there doing her own mechanic work on the bike. It's fantastic to see. So we've got action aplenty down the back straight. Cormac Buchanan is in the lead, but the number 17 of Jacob Skinner there, he's made a move into 4th place, I believe. There we've got Liam Humm ahead of Jacob Pearce. That's 2nd and 3rd, so we'll catch it up on the Sky Sport next replay. But brilliant racing from Supersport 150, and good to see 6 of them out there. There's talks of having more of them available when we go racing in the North Island, so this is only going to grow. And look at the racing we've got already. Cormac Buchanan is leading ahead of Liam Humm and Jacob Pearce, but that's some fierce battles there, 2nd and 3rd. And then a 3-way fight for 4th, 5th and 6th as well. Supersport 150, thanks to Yamaha New Zealand for getting this one over the line. And of course, this being a new class, we're going to have another lap record. It's with Cormac Buchanan at the moment. So that's going to be 4 out of the 5 races so far we've had lap records broken in.
Well, great to see you remembering many years ago when I bought my Suzuki 125 road bike. My father said to me, it's got 12 horsepower. That's a powerful little bike. That you think at the time, well, we've heard, of course, superbikes go on to be 200 plus horsepower. But you think of these ones that only in the not even at 20 horsepower. But to think that how good they are to race, and our average speed last week at Ruapuna, I think it just hit that 100k mark, 100 kilometres an hour on a tiny little bike at that. So that's fantastic. In fact, there we are. Yeah, 105 for Cormac. So he's doing 150. That's with the hairpin. That's with the tight corners. And these are a tiny little 150cc bike. And of course, coming out with now with fairings, and they've got all the proper suspension to be adjusted. You're talking about proper forks on the front end and brakes and a chassis and everything like that. They're a real bike, but being production based, they're affordable and super safe for that one, Dean.
Yeah, they are. They're a really good bike. I own a version 2 myself. Parts have been loaned to Oliver Cotton to get this bike up and running after a small technical issue in his last weekend. So his bike is slower than the version 3 down the straight, but he's proven that it can definitely handle around the corners, and he keeps par. He's a really good battle with Jacob Skinner there, passing. Jacob will get him down the straight, and Oliver Cotton will get him through the twisties. So it's coming good, and it just goes to show how competitive these bikes are in standard trim. We're talking stock standard road bike by Cormac Buchanan with running road tyres at 121, and I think the lap record held by James Hoogie or Dan Jenkins on their rather modified buckets running slicks and good power. And the 20 horsepower power record is only about minutes 16, minutes 17, so not too much difference considering the performance average.
Okay, the update is Cormac Buchanan. He's lapping in the 121s. He's got a massive 11-second advantage, but it is a change for second place. Jacob Pearce has gone up into second, ahead of Liam Humm, so that's a good battle there with the number 56 ahead of the number 6 now. We go to Oliver Cotton and Jacob Skinner and Olivia Goddard. They are the 3 4th, 5th and 6th at the moment. There's not a hell of a lot separating those at the moment. And then we look to the Jigsaw Cup with Tyrone Kuipers. He's got an 8-second lead over Sam Guthrie, with Maddie Berry in 3rd, Harrison Shanks and Eve Scrivener there in 5th place. So that's great. We've got the Jigsaw Cup. And we've got the Supersport 150s is all in one race. We've got 2 laps to go, and Cormac Buchanan are well and truly in charge of this one.
Well, in fact, exactly what we're talking about with Maddie, Eve and Olivia in these races. 3 of our young ladies in our sport. Of course, the Scrivener Claire coming out of sidecar racing. Eve wanting to give it a go as well, so she steps up. Maddie's had a background in motocross. Olivia's got her brother Josh that has been a great performer in our 300 class, and Super Dad Kev of Race Supplies, long-time legend of the sport as well. So 3 girls with a sort of a coincidental background in our sport, but this is the ideal class for them, so love to see the ladies doing it. And all of these girls, of course, are teenagers after all, so when other teenage girls are probably thinking of doing other things in life and in sport, we've got girls that are going motorcycle racing and loving it, so do catch up with them. And special congrats to the Halberg Foundation, of course, for the finalists with Courtney Duncan, our super motocross star, a lady, of course, who lives not far from here down the road, a couple of hours, so it's going to be awesome. And when I really weigh it up and try and take my unbiased mind off it, I really think she's going to be a serious contender for that overall Women's Award for this year. So all the best to Courtney. We love her, have followed her since she was a kid in the sport of moto, and here we are, so lucky to have women in our sport doing as well. And if we look back, of course, at Avalon Biddle as another nominee for that. Go back to Carol Pavich and being 250 Grand Prix champion. Man, oh man, we are so lucky with the calibre of our women. Love having them as part of our game. It certainly makes it. Dean, you've been privileged, in fact, to be in Canterbury, where there's been plenty of women that have ridden over years. You know, we think of Angela Charlotte. Look at the improvement in the last 12 months when we had that support 250 production racing that last weekend. Angela goes fast.
Yeah, she does, and it's backed up by just such a huge club series that we run. There's plenty of bikes and 250s and 300s on the grid around here, so there's always plenty of challenges. We've got sort of similar competitiveness to what we do to a national event just in our winter series, so it goes to show. And we've even managed to steal Av back down into Canterbury too, so we're claiming her as well now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Please do that. Yeah, good one. It's all right. Brad's been focusing, and we've got our 2 classes race within races of our Superstock 150 and our Jixers.
Yeah, and we're on the last lap. We've got the white flag out. So on the last lap at the moment, Cormac Buchanan has not put a foot wrong so far. He is flying. He has a 17-second lead ahead of Jacob Pearce, who's ahead of Liam Hum in 3rd place. Oliver Cotton, and then there we go. 5th and 6th is a real good battle. There's less than a second in that. It's the 39 Olivia Goddard and the 17 of Jacob Skinner. So keep an eye on that one. So battle for 5th and 6th is not done. Tyrone Kuipers, he's pretty comfy in the lead of the Jigsaw Cup. But here's the checkered flag now for Cormac Buchanan, who's going to win the 4th Supersport 150 race in a row for him. He continues to dominate this class. Fantastic performance from the likeable young man from the bottom of the South Island in Invercargill, Cormac Buchanan. Yet another Supersport 150 win, and then we'll go battle for 2nd place. It is looking like it's going to be the number 56 of Jacob Pearce ahead of Liam Hum there. So that's 2nd and 3rd, good battle there from those two, rounding out the podium. And we also keep an eye out for Tyrone Kuipers, who is our Jigsaw Cup leader. He's still coming around the northern end of the circuit. But that is just fantastic stuff. Supersport 150, can't wait to see the sky's the limit with this class. Just the young development class, mostly young teenagers out there, and brilliant to see. Brought to us by Caltex and Washdyke and Caltex King Street Timaru, one of our great sponsors here at round 2 of NZSBK at Levels International Raceway.
well again as our winners choose Pirelli. We've got Cormac straight up here with us. Cormac, opportunity to race here, obviously brand new class, so new lap record. How were you happy with your performance?
Yeah, definitely, because coming out and qualifying we had a bit of a spill, but thanks to Dad and Steve Baxwell for getting the bike ready, and thanks to Yamaha for making this series possible, because without them I wouldn't be out there doing what I do, and to make the new lap record is just amazing.
Yeah, great to see. Well done, thorough congrats. Let's jump to third, and Liam, these young guys keeping you honest again.
Yeah, they are certainly doing that. Yeah, it was a good racing out there today.
Yeah. Right, what are conditions like?
Really hot out there. Yeah, a bit windy, but we're dealing with it, so it's good.
Good man, good man. Jacob Pearce again, and Jacob, you've got Liam to contend with. He's making you work for your living.
Oh, mate, life isn't easy out there with Liam behind your bads for sure. I didn't get the best of starts, wheelied off the line twice, so I had a bit of work to do the first few laps, but once I got ahead, I couldn't really pull away, so it was just trying to defend and hang off second.
Yeah. Well done. Hey, isn't that a great podium? Well done to our brand new Supersport 150 lineup. Loving all that on those fantastic Yamaha 1.5. So great to see. Yeah, Cormac, and proud to be that number one. What a great show. And to our Jixers, I'm going to stand right here for Maddie. Come on. Bring it on up, Maddie Berry. This is so good indeed. So fantastic, Maddie. What's it feel right now?
Pretty puffed, to be honest.
It's a bit of fitness out there, isn't it? People think of it as just going for a bit of a ride on a bike. It should be easy.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely more sweaty and like endurance training than physical training just on these little jixers. But yeah, it's been good to get the launch on that start and get the third and sit in there.
Yeah, well done. Hey, people like Harrison have been pushing you hard over the championship. Feels good to beat them?
Yeah, it just definitely feels good to have someone out there battling with and someone pushing you each time you go out. It's just real good to have someone there instead of just riding around on your own. So yeah.
All right, when most other people sort of think of ladies doing the more common jobs, you're one of those that breaks into the male domain, let alone the fact that you race motorbikes with mostly males. You work on cars as well. What's it feel like to be a car mechanic?
Oh, it's great. It just definitely makes it easier at the track as well, just kind of having a different understanding of how the bike works and just making sure that everything's A-OK and nice and tight and nipped up, ready to go.
Well done, thank you. What a great speech, and we're loving this. Here we are with Sam as well, and Sam, a whole lot of fun out there. Did you realise Tyrone in front but Maddie behind? Good performances.
Yeah, Tyrone just pulled away from me at the first two laps, so I was trying to get him back, but I was hitting my limit around turn 4, and so I lost my speed, so yeah.
All right, but tough. How do you regard that as a race?
I was just trying my best, and hopefully up north I can maybe be a bit closer to Tyrone, and
Okay, all right. Hey, but he came to Manfield. He'd never been there before, and he's still won. He's damn awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's learned a lot.
He's learned a lot, yeah. And so have you. Well done. And well done, Tyrone. What's the levels like today?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool track. I've been here a couple of times. I was here for Southern Classic, so I've done a few laps around it, but I definitely wasn't going as fast then as we are now. We've definitely learned heaps, like up in the Suzuki series, having Dennis Charlotte as like a mentor. It definitely improved our riding heaps, and then riding with people like Lockie and Daniel and all that, our current Superbike riders, riding with them is so cool. They absolutely push you to the limit, and I feel like I went to them really, because up until then I was like a few seconds off the pace, and then when I went up to Lockie and I was like, I'm going to follow you out, and he's like, good luck, and then I just went from there really.
Well, here we go, folks. Jixers have been around for 30 years on the racetrack. They make an awesome little 150, and these super kids have been out here to have some fun on them as well. We love them, and you will as well. Follow them through the Suzuki International Series, and here with our 2020 NZSBK. Bring it home with Suzuki in our little 150. Let's hear it for the Jixers as they rule in 150 racing. Well done, guys. All right, Brad, ready to go with sidecar racing. This is just so special in our sport. Neat to see a lineup like this. Haven't seen sidecars like this here at Levels for a little while. Let's go racing.
Yeah, great start there from Dennis Charlotte and Dan Jenkins. They are the Mega Motorcycle Centre, Bright Orange Machine, Pete the Pirate and Kendall Dunlop. We're going to try and go up the inside, but not quite close enough. Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen will hold on to second place. Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan there in fourth. We've got Jared and Kelly Winter running in fifth place with Gordy McEwen and Lewis Scrivener doing the passengering there. We've got Tony MacArthur and Dave New there in seventh. So we've got a change for position. We've got lead change. Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen up the inside of Dennis and Dan. So we'll see who's got the bigger brakes as they head into the left-hander. I think it's with Scrivy. He's had brake issues all weekend. So we've seen him. He's thinking about having to change master cylinders over the overnight. But he's going to see how he gets on. But he leads at the moment. The number 99. He is the defending New Zealand sidecar champion with Tina McEwen doing the swing in there. The number 83. That is Dennis Charlotte and Dan Jenkins. So they had a pretty good weekend. They had a race win at Ruapuna last weekend and fighting at the moment. They were on pole position. First and second battling hard as they head out of the hairpin. Pete the Pirate, the 111 machine, there's a good third place for them with Kendall Dunlop on the back. And we go to Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan. We've got Dennis Charlotte up the inside into the bus stop. What a move. So there we go. Change for first place. And it is the 83 of Dennis Charlotte. What a move into the bus stop. There's not much room for two sidecars in the bus stop. And Dennis Charlotte, what a move. Race lead now for Dennis Charlotte. Dan Jenkins doing the passengering. They are the Mega Motorcycle Centre Underground Brown Bright Orange Machine. And they lead ahead of Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen. What an electric sidecar 10-lapper we're in for here.
All right, well, in fact, if you're thinking of Dennis Charlotte, I've heard that name. You certainly would have, folks, because for 20 years he's been an absolutely awesome performer on our national, international scene. He's New Zealand 125 GP, 250 GP, 600 sports production, Superbike champion, Pro Twin champion, Super Light champion. The list goes on. It is incredible. But one of the classes he had not won was sidecars and said, hey, I want to give sidecar racing a go. Hopped into this machine for the first time last year thanks to Warwick Demick, and here he is making it go even better this year. He's got a new swinger on board now with Dan Jenkins, and we saw, in fact, in the last 250 support race last weekend, it's a two-wheel motorcycle race. These two guys were actually competitors against each other, and at many times in the race they could have each put their hand out and touched each other. So as well as being mates when it comes to being the sidecar and being good competitors as a team, they're also fierce rivals on the racetrack. So neat to see. So here we are, bringing it all home. Mr. Dennis Charlotte with super new swinger, and out there Dan Jenkins going for it and taking the lead, Brad.
Yeah, this is a fantastic job. So they are first and second. Pretty comfy job there. Back to Pete the Pirate and Kendall Dunlop there, third place. So they won 2 out of the 3 races, including the Grand Prix last weekend. Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, they were fourth in all 3 races last week. So they desperately want to get up into third place. They're right on the back of the Team Pirate machine. So we've got Dennis and Dan with Andy and Tina in second place, but that bright green machine pulls up right in behind. So we've got to have a look at that one as they go nearly side by side into the John Jones steel left-hander, and Andy around the outside. What a move. Has he got it stopped? We've got to have a look at that one. That's a brilliant move from Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen around the outside of Dennis Charlotte. And here we go. This is all on here. We've got 8 laps to go still, and the 99 now in front. There's grass coming up. There's flying. There's air time for the swingers as they go around there. It's absolutely electric. This is going to be 10-lapper to remember for sure. Dennis Charlotte, he is a fierce competitor. He will going to try and argue straight back. We've got Pete the Pirate and Barry Smith. They're having a good battle. That's third and fourth, but the battle for the lead is the one we're on at the moment, and it is now with the 99 of Andy Scrivener, a multiple-time New Zealand sidecar champion, and Dennis Charlotte, who's looking to be the first time sidecar champion. So these guys are fighting hard, and we've already 3 laps into this one, so 7 laps to go. It seems to be flying through at the moment, the final race of the day here at round 2.
All right, well, as Scrivy outlined to us here yesterday in the press conference, he was first here competing, 86 or 88? I think and he like that. So this is now actually the fifth decade that he has competed. That's just amazing. So there they are putting it together in an amazing run. So you've gone, of course, from the 80s to the 90s to the 20s to the 2010s and now the 2020s. So the 5th decade of racing for this guy. Absolutely legendary. Had plenty of different swingers on board, but Tina, the wife of Gordy, is back there on the other machine. She's a great swinger, and they are the more polished team and better performers. So Tina's on board with this winning combination. They have this fantastic green paintwork, which is a commentator's dream to watch. And they're also, in fact, of course, with Scrivy, very jovial team, and are great on the interviews. You watch them afterwards. There'll be some fun to be had, as there was with the press conference this week. Oh no, Dennis slowed right up there. Slowed right up, Brad. What happened there?
Yeah, he just went too early on the apex. Mrs. Apex went on the grass, lit the back wheel of the sidecar up, so he's lost a lot of ground. So a bit of a drama here as he's just made a mess of the hairpin. So that's given a bit of breathing room to Andy and Tina. They're lapping in the 1:12s that time, so fastest on track. They've got a second and a half now back to Dennis and Dan. So that's the battle first and second. Pete the Pirate still holding out Barry and Tracy, but there's only 0.4 of a second in that gap. So Pete the Pirate, he is looking for championship points here, so sitting in third place at the moment. Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, they'll be desperate to get their first podium of the season on the Carl Cox Motorsport City Honda machine. So the battle for third is definitely coming alive, as you see the F1 machine of Pete the Pirate just pull away Barry on the smaller F2 machine. So this will be not a bad track to be on an F2 machine. You won't lose as much, but as we can see down the back straight, still losing out quite a few bike lengths.
All right, tough work for them to do on that small chair, but after all, there's some great glory with the others to be held out there. So fourth place, good enough, but not quite the perfect, but you get the idea when you're doing it on F2 machinery. And as you saw by the preview that we had here earlier, F2 machines and F3 machines, you know, they're sort of like Mack trucks and minis as far as the size of the chassis is concerned. The engines, of course, aren't as far apart, with only a 400cc difference, but a whole different configuration. And where the swinger fits is a whole different ball game as well. And of course, for the engine position, well, the engine either in front or behind, depending on which of the machines you're in. So there we go, less than a sidecar in it as we go racing with the Scrivy and Dennis show out there for first and second. Looking back for the third and fourth with Pete and in there as well, of course, Barry. Now, I'll be interested to find out from Pete if he'll make the podium indeed, to find out, because he got a third in the first race last weekend before going on to win the next two. What sort of answers has he got? Has he got a machine gremlin out there? Unsure of that, don't think so. But I tell you what, Dennis Charlotte, he has turned up here to race today, Brad.
Absolutely, doing a fantastic job there. We've got Andy Scrivy. He's been talking about some heat problems coming off that machine of his. So late in the race, he's having a hard time keeping his leg to stop catching fire. So we hope Scrivy can hang on to this one. He's ahead of Dennis Charlotte by just 0.2 of a second as they go around the McKissick curve. There's less than a sidecar length in it. Brilliant to watch sidecars battling hard around levels. It's a fantastic track. Mostly left-handers, and the swingers get to hang off the side of the machine. A few change of direction. The bus stop must be absolutely amazing to be on a sidecar. As we see Andy Scrivener still ahead of Dennis Charlotte. We've got Pete the Pirate still in third place ahead of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan. We've got Gordy McEwen and Louis Scrivener doing his passioning. That's fifth place. Jared and Kelly Winter running in sixth. Dave MacArthur and Tony New rounding out a good seven sidecar field. So action aplenty. And Dennis Charlotte, he's got about 4 laps to go. Where's he going to make a move?
Well, there we go. In fact, he's proved that he's good enough before, because he has been back in second and then pounced and got the first. And then, of course, we've seen Scrivy, and he's been in second and pounced and got the first, but he's stuck to the first. And here we go with Dennis. Dennis going to get the drive out of the outside there of turn number 3 to make a charge here along the back. Timaru Motors, Timaru Hire, Milligan's feed straight before they head down to John Jones Steel. It is all on, but no, couldn't make it stick. Tried everything, moved over to the left, moved over to the right, tried to find the gap, held it pin, tried to get the slipstream, but could not get the advantage. Still there with Scrimmy to hold on to it, and then looking for Dennis Charlotte to have a go. Can he try and get around the outside? Brad, that's going to be holding it. Can he keep it there? Does it make it work? No, not yet. But hey, it was worth a shot. No point in not giving it a go, because nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Absolutely, it is quite slippery when you get off the racing line on a sidecar as well. So Scrivy doing a great job keeping that bike as wide as he can. Dennis Charlotte desperately trying to look for a move. Scrivy opens the door but closes it again. Into the bus stop they go. Scrivy and Dennis, what a fight this is. There's less than a sidecar in it. We've got Dennis Charlotte going to look around the outside, but he's not quite close enough there, so he's going to have to follow Scrivy around there. There's only really enough room for one sidecar on the racing line through turn 2 and into turn 3, and there we go around the outside again. Look to get the good drive onto the straight. This is where Dennis can make the move. If he can get a good drive out onto the back straight, this is where he can pull up alongside Scrivy. So we see Scrivy get a good drive out of there. Dennis right in behind him. So there we go. Pete the Pirate and Barry Smith, they're still having a good battle, but Barry just loses a bit of steam down the back straight. Another good battle is in 5th place with Gordy McEwen and Louis Scrivener, and then Jared and Kelly Winter. So 5th and 6th is a good one as well. Dave and Tony there in 7th, but the battle for the lead is less than a sidecar in it, and we're on the 3rd to last lap here at the moment.
Well, if you're looking for a thrill, the New Zealand Sidecar Association always have their Have a Go Day, generally around early May or thereabouts, around Taupo, sort of the centre of the North Island. So looking to have a go, which means literally that, go and have a go with sidecar racing. Hop on board and give it a go yourself. Of course, we've seen many people that have done so and have got hooked on it. The work of a swinger, people like Darren Prentice, who turn up at event after event, and Darren's there and often can take a ride. There'd be nothing wrong with an event from Beezy, have 2 different rides throughout the event. And we certainly know that sidecar racing a thrill and exhilarating. Had the privilege to do it on board more than a decade ago, and an absolute buzz, one of those bucket list things to do, folks. So check it out, swinging on a sidecar, nothing like it. And just look at the profile. If you're out there watching it on Sky Sport Next, just have a good look and some of those good slow-mos to see the work that what we call the swinger is doing. The passenger on board there at the moment, they can right down, look, as they go along the straight, you can't even see Dan Jenkins. He is absolutely nullified by the fairing in front of him, so he's tucked right down there. He's a pocket-sized little midget, and that's certainly a big help, and he's doing it. And that's often why the ladies are doing there, because at power to weight, of course, they can do so well to be so strong to hold on, manoeuvre over the body when it counts, of course, for left-handers to hang out over the third wheel, and then for the right-handers to then tuck up and literally go up onto the shoulder of the driver in front. So super energetic and a whole lot of fun, and it's what our sport's all about. Bring it on with sidecar racing, and look at this, less than a chair in it as we're late in the race, Brad.
Yeah, white flag is sitting there, so ready to go. We're on the 2nd to last lap at the moment, and just a quick shout out to Richie Lawrence. We've heard of the update that Richie's now at home recovering from his crash at the Cemetery Circuit on Boxing Day, so he was doing some pasturing for Mark Halls. They had a nasty crash in the S's, and unfortunately for Richie, ended up with some broken ribs, some punctured lungs, I think a pelvis broken vertebrae. So our thoughts out there with Richie Lawrence, one of the real legends and the nice guys of New Zealand sidecar racing. So a big shout out to Richie. Hope you're getting well soon, and great to see you at home recovering as we go racing. Scrivy still ahead of Dennis Charlotte. He must be getting frustrated, the number 83. He just can't quite get a move on it, and he's losing bike lengths down the back straight. So Scrivy, white flag out last lap at the moment, and he's got about a 10 sidecar advantage heading into the left-hander.
Well, in fact, that's the biggest advantage he's had in the entire race, so certainly got that perfect through there, and more the fact, unfortunately, that Dennis didn't. And that's what part of it is all about as well. It literally is teamwork, because if you just don't have the balance right, if you have a missed gear change by the rider, all of a sudden that means that the pillion's gone further forward, and then the bike doesn't have the momentum, and then they can be lurched forward. There's so many different things that can happen. The geometry of a sidecar affected dramatically by where the rider is as far as braking and accelerating and gear. Oh, and there's Dennis, the puff of dust, and he's right off to the side there at the moment. So Dennis and the puff of dust gives it away, Brad, pushing a little bit too hard. What's that done? That's had mistakes we were just talking about, and that's meant that Scrivy a little bit more comfortably can come home for a fabulous win.
Yeah, there it is. The 99 takes the checkered flag. The win for Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen doing the pasturing there. What a win for them. I believe that's their first win of the series. So brilliant for our defending champions. They won all 3 races here last year, and carry on their winning ways at levels. Dennis Charlotte and Dan Jenkins finished there in 2nd place. So here's the CTAS replay on Sky Sport Next. So a bit of oversteer, lit the back wheel up on that bright orange underground brown mega motorcycle centre machine, and then grass tracking. So pretty good save really in the end, had to straighten her up, and Dan Jenkins, what a wild ride he would have had on the back there, but there we go. Didn't lose too much ground actually after that move. That might be a new line to look at in the future, as we see the 83 of Dennis Charlotte. 2nd place for that one, Pete the Pirate, good one, and Kendall Dunlop there doing the swinging. That's 3rd place for them, rounding out another podium for Team Pirate. They are doing a good job in the championship at the moment. Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan, that's a 4th place for them to carry on their run of 4th places on the Carl Cox Motorsport City Honda machine. Great to see the Carl Cox Motorsport team in the week leading up to this event with the Carl Cox Motorsport Golf Open they've had in-house there, so brilliant to see that. Great stuff from them. We've got Gordy McEwen and Louis Scrivener there 5th place. Jared and Kelly Winter finishing there in 6th. And then we go Dave MacArthur and Tony New. That's 7th place for them. So all 7 finishes. Fantastic stuff. And Scrivy gets his name on the board. So a win for Andy Scrivener, Tina McEwen. And a big shout out to all of our overseas viewers. We've got viewers all over the world on Sky Sport Next. It's fantastic to have you and the Sidecar family come alive for our Summer Suzuki International Series. We had Australian sidecar visitors, and we had Estelle LeBlanc and Frank Clays come over from France and Belgium. That was fantastic, and a big shout out to the Watson Racing team. And Gabby, I know you're watching there, so a big shout out to you. Brilliant stuff. So we'll cross down to Neil, who's going to have our podium for the sidecars, and that is a wrap of our racing today. So over to Neil.
Well, I tell you what, this is now 4 sidecar races. We've had 3 different winners over 4 sidecar races, so just magnificent to see. And of course, with bigger sidecars, they pull up here on the Carter Tyre Services pit lane. Look at that. The first thing is the handshaking that goes on, the colours that go on, the pats, the high fives, all going on. Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork all the way, and neat to see. But what about the presentation of the sidecars as well? I tell you what, these things for actually, literally a factory-built machine. It's not as if it's a production-based car. You don't go to a showroom and find these on the floor to buy. They're completely made up. Most of them now, of course, are European-made, and they are quality with a capital Q. So, and then, of course, to be brought back to New Zealand and be presented the way they are, their teams with their colours, their sponsors on board, very distinctive. Commentator's dream there. The orange and white for Dennis, the green and white for Scrivy, and the brown and grey for Pete the Pirate on board as well. Just fantastic. So, man, oh man, have we ever got some great sidecar racing, and so prompt and so professional to come up here to the podium as always. Dennis Charlotte, first of all, Dennis, we've just seen it on the Sky Sport Next replay, mate, on that hairpin, absolutely sideways, and you didn't throw him off, so you thought you'd keep him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we've been practicing that though. Yeah, old Scrivy chucked it in the corner there and parked it in the middle, and I just had to ride the brake a little bit more, which made me spin out, but I managed to catch it and keep finish second. So amazing race with Scrivy. We're trying to go around the outside of him everywhere, and it was just a good race. What more can I say?
Hey, 4 races so far for sidecars, 3 last week, 1 today. Now 3 different winners. That's what we're saying as well. This is going to be a great series.
It certainly is, and it's a shame there's not more of us out here, but the ones that are here, we definitely put on a good show. So thanks a lot to Dan, the swinger, man. He's done a real good job. So he's top bloke.
Well, what I was drawing reference to in racing last weekend is at the end of the day, you guys were in the same 250 support race. You went out in the end, and you were that close to each other as well. You almost like being on a sidecar, but you're on 2 different bikes. So it sort of went from a love-hate, you loved him on the sidecar, to actually wanting to beat him on the 2 wheels, Dan. Now, what do you feel about him? Is he the boss, or what do you tell him? Just when it comes to racing, may the best man win?
They call him the GOAT.
Oh, right, yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, not bad, all right, not bad of all time. Hey, what do you think of the sidecar game anyway? You're another convert as well. You're a 2-wheeler gone 3.
Yeah, no, I've done a fair bit of 2 wheels racing now, but the excitement of the 3 wheels, the racing so much closer, so much tighter. There's nowhere to pass, on a track like Levels, and it just makes it so damn exciting,
Beautiful words, loving all that. Here we are. Well, for Pete, we're just saying 4 sidecar races, 3 different winners so far as well. Yeah, so hey, that one was a bit tougher.
To be honest with you, we broke a chain in practice, which didn't help, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. It didn't help us set up. I knew from the off we were going to struggle. Scrivy is great round here. I was watching Dennis in practice, and I knew he was going to be the man. They've got a fast motor now. So, and I was lucky to hold off Baz. I mean, I was hoping them 2 were going to knock each other off the track, to be honest with you, and I was going to win the race that way. I mean, I'll take a win anyway how I can. But no, all power to them. They were in a different class to me, and I can't blame anybody except myself.
Well done, lovely words. Kendall was right at the start. It was Scrivy. Was he going to give you the nose and the back again?
Oh, hey. We're all gentlemen and gentle ladies out here, so all's fair in love and war, but man, that was a class act, and we had the best seats in the house. Yeah. Brilliant, well done.
Nice stuff. Here, lovely words, Tina. Hey, how good, man, oh man. He makes you work, doesn't he? He just throws you side by side. Look at those blips. Hang on, yeah, indeed. How was it?
I was gritting for beer strength and holding on every lap. It was just, and seeing these two behind us, I was just like, no, they were so close the whole race. It was awesome, absolutely awesome, Rob.
Yeah, it was indeed. Hey, Scrivy, I made the comment of the 5 decades which you'd prompted us. You've been here since the 80s, but wouldn't that go down as one of the better ones you've done here over the years?
I mean, Dennis has got so much more stamina than I have, and I just had to try and slow it down. So, and the corners that I could actually slow it down, and he couldn't get past me, I was doing it, and he knew damn well. But I didn't have a mirror on board, but if I had it, I probably would have used it for that reason. But I just couldn't shake him. He was just so fast, man. You wait, like I predicted last night, Dennis is going to win one tomorrow, I can tell you right now.
Yeah, there you go. All right, aren't they fantastic, folks? Let's hear it for the sidecar racing. So good. Massive thanks to Ironworks Motors up there in Pleasant Point for supporting racing. What a fantastic day we've had. Perfect track conditions, great temperature, and everything is just so good. Hey, to all the volunteers out there, flaggies, we can't do without you. Whole lot of cool people. Do you realise there's over 70 volunteers here doing a great job this weekend? We love you as well, so thank you all very much. So, yeah, see that? And the flaggies are saying thank you for the entertainment, so, and the sidecars are all part of that. We love our great family here at NZSBK 2020. Have a great night, everybody. See you again tomorrow. Bye. Well, yes, indeed, as our sponsors go up on the screen here, we have a massive thanks to Hyundai and South Canterbury Hyundai for the use of the support vehicle, along with Sky Sport, Next Motorcycle New Zealand, Pirelli, power is nothing without control, along with ICG, Creative Content and Print, Aon, you're a specialist in insurance package. Of course, remembering for your insurance, it's about transporting your bike often. So have you thought about your insurance? Does it cover transport? They're the sort of things that Aon do because they're specialists when it comes to motorcycles. You'll love them, so do check them out. And of course, Yamaha, revs your heart. Awesome to be our sponsors on board. What a day we've had, folks. This is only Saturday, day number 1 here at round number 2 at Levels International Raceway 2020 NZSBK, alive and flying. Magnificent. Brad, what have we had? 4 lap records today, I think. 4, maybe 5. There's Monique, one of our officials, going past. She's got a thumbs up. She says it's a great day. Of course it is. I think we've had 4 lap. Cormac's, of course, will be a lap record because it's a brand new class. And I think we've got 4 lap records. They're just fantastic. So, man, oh man, excitement. Will we even calm down enough for tonight? And we'll be back tomorrow. Remembering, of course, coming to you here locally, we have what we call the scrub session, which is just 3 laps for all of the classes, just to warm their bike, warm the body, warm their tyres, and they each do 3 laps in their class to come back. So our first race, approximately 10 a.m. We'll go through for the first round, then have a lunch break, and then do our group in the afternoon. And to be finish off with the Alan Ramage Memorial. This is just for the 300 Super Sport class and for the fastest 12 qualifiers, and with a field of 30 odd, of course, there'll be 12 very good riders. In fact, I think I counted our group today had 13 in it, so one of those good riders is going to miss out. And what they do is they form onto the grid to effectively do a 4x4x4. So if you were the 12th qualifier, you will actually get an opportunity to be 4th because you'll get to go on the front row. So effectively it's a revolving line, and it means that just because you're the number 1, you don't stay number 1. You'll start as number 1, you'll drop back then to be number 5, you'll drop back then to be number 9. Thank you. Yeah, indeed. So if you get the idea, and the same if you're in four and going backwards. So you'll get the idea. So a neat format. So neat to have you on board for that. Hey, please want to thank our sponsors. Can't do it without them. Yamaha revs your heart. Hey, have you seen the YZF R1 run out on now? So check out. Often the case, of course, when you've got beautiful bikes that are about to be updated. So there's stock on hand of the current models. So they'll be sold at special prices from your fabulous Yamaha dealers. More details at yamaha-motor.co.nz. Find them on Facebook, of course, as well. But check out their ancillary products like YMF, that's Yamaha Motor Finance, YMI, Yamaha Motor Insurance, with Yamalube, specialist lubrication for your Yamaha motorcycle, and of course Yamaha Genuine Parts. Hey, the ICG machine. It's ICG. It's we're not just a marketing company. We're a marketing machine.